Zaz, I have a bit of an issue here. Like, before our vehicle gets moving and starts careening without brakes and stuff, I tend to sort of like check all of the tires, and we've got two that are overinflated that I need to get some of the air out on because we've got way too much sports to talk about today. So, Jeremy, go ahead and give me everything you've got on the Marlins, and then shut up after that about the Marlins. So just give me everything you've got, and then leave room for Tony so he can give me everything he's got on the UFC fight last night, and I can get that out of my life and then start the show where it needs to start.
Yeah, do it and then shut up.
Marlins are the hottest team in June. They're 10-2. They're the only team in baseball to hand losses to Jacob Misiorowski, Shohei Ohtani, and Paul Skeens. Otto Lopez, all-star shortstop, leading the league in hitting. 14 for 25. That's a .560 batting average in late and close situations. Max Meyer is 7-0. He hasn't lost a game thus far this season. He becomes the third pitcher in franchise history to win the first 7 decisions of a season. It's the longest start to a season without a loss by a Marlins pitcher. He is an all-star. So is Otto Lopez. So is Xavier Edwards. And Joe Mack, emerging as one of the great young catchers in the game. He has an OPS over 900. In the month of June, he also is daring runners to steal. He keeps saying, please run, please run, please run,
really
publicly.
Good.
He's amazing. And the Marlins have the third most wins against teams 500 or better, just trailing the Braves or the Brewers.
How's that breakfast?
It's good.
He didn't know I was going to him, and he was eating breakfast.
I was literally chewing as he said it, and I went, okay.
And because
let me take a breath.
He's been wanting to talk Marlins for a month, and I haven't let him.
There's only two pitchers in baseball who've allowed 10 or fewer earned runs in 40-plus innings this season. It's Shohei Ohtani and Tyler Phillips.
Max Meyer pitched. He outpitched Skeens yesterday.
That's right.
And as he said, they've beaten Ohtani and Skeens this season.
And Misiorowski, don't forget him.
And Misiorowski, who had 15 strikeouts over the weekend. Go ahead, Tony. Give us everything you've got on the maximum American excessive freedom of UFC 250.
Yeah, Dan, it was an incredible fight night. 7 fights, all ended in knockout. Just a complete success. In the octagon, we saw Justin Gaethje show the warrior spirit, beating Ilia Topuria, who was undefeated, who had his victory party the night before, as he usually does. Got a tattoo crossing Justin Gaethje's
victory party the night before?
He does that every night before the fight. He's like, we're going to have the victory party tonight because I know I'm going to win tomorrow. And it's worked 17 times. The problem is on the 18th time, he ran into Justin Gaethje, who, again, has the warrior spirit. Chris?
Did we have any mosquito problems?
No mosquitoes, no 40-mile-an-hour winds, no thunderstorms from what we saw. So everything
that woke Weather Channel messing everything up.
Didn't mess anything up because we got the fights in. The fights were great. Cyril Gane showed why he's one of the best heavyweights in the world right now, dismantling Alex Pereira in a way that nobody really does. I'm sure we're going to get somebody to talk about all the fights with, later on in the show. No?
We're not going to be talking about the fights anymore, so you better get rid of it. You got 30 seconds
I think we're going to talk about
left.
the fights a little bit more
No,
later.
no.
I think we are.
No, Tony, let's not forget who's in charge here, okay? Let's not get Tony. Tony, don't make me kick you out for the rest of the show to make sure you don't say anything.
That would be tough for you.
And we'll have an eye on every goal, shouting magisterial, no need to back down. Just park the bus, stop the attack. Will the hand of God put your header back on track? Football is back, Jack. Mbappe's flying through the air. Ronaldo's here for one last prayer. Will Messi come out to play? Or is it victory for the USA? It's corner kicks when the box is packed. That's how you know that football is back, Jack. Let me hear you say, football is back, Jack. The time is here, open the gates. The long wait is over, so we'll yell, let's go States! No need to back down, just strike the ball, start the attack. If you say this game's the best, I'll say it's a gag. Football is back, Jack. Football is back, Jack. Football is back.
Jalen Brunson isn't the answer.
It's an awful idea.
And for what? To go all in hopes of signing Jalen Brunson?
And by the way, he's not a 1. I'm not even sure he's a real 2.
And I worry that they're gonna look at Jalen Brunson and they're like, wait, we've spent $27 million a year on this?
I think the Thunder are going to destroy them.
The saddest sweepstakes ever. The Jalen Brunson sweepstakes. Is Jalen Brunson one of the 10 best point guards in basketball? Maybe he's 10.
I don't think he's top 10. I mean, he might not be top 14.
I don't think this is a move that puts them into playoff contention.
It's got to be something in addition to Jalen Brunson.
But it is not going to be the type of player that elevates them into contender status.
But, I mean, do we think Brunson is a guy that is going to bring them to a second-round playoff series? He's not.
I think the Thunder are going to destroy them.
I mean, Kevin Durant is playing basketball in New York City, and you're just, like, talking about, can we get Brunson?
I think the Thunder are going to destroy them.
The Knicks are acting like he's KD. I'm going to repeat, Jalen Brunson.
So the Knicks have just told one of the best basketball stories ever told, because you do not have all-time great players sneak up on you. That's not a thing. And you don't have teams lose 3 times during the playoffs and dominate everybody that no one thought was going to dominate anybody in that sport. And I just want to, before we get into all of the ways that people are going to crush the young Spurs for not knowing how to win close games late, why would they? They haven't been in any. Like, they played 1 or 2 against the Thunder, but all season they haven't had late and close situations to learn from, and they just ran into the guy better late and close than anybody is. And so I want to ask a couple of questions of the group here. First of all, if Dallas keeps its team together, do we ever find out how good Jalen Brunson is?
I think the answer is closer to yes than no, because we started to learn about Brunson when Doncic got hurt and he wasn't playing in that playoff series, and Brunson was scoring 30 regularly. Like, he was carrying them. So I think we would have learned.
I don't think so, and I also don't think that if the Knicks don't build everything the way they built it, every time getting questions with every move they made, that he doesn't become something more like, and this is not a slight exactly, Allen Iverson, who didn't have enough to get there as a small guy. Look, 45 points in a game, closeout game, when your team scores 94 is lunacy. That's Michael Jordan stuff. Like, a player that size, only Isaiah Thomas is the comp. I guess Steph Curry, but he's sort of an outlier because it's just all shots from beyond. But this is Iverson winning the championship because they put the right pieces around him. When this started with Phil Jackson falling asleep on the subway because they thought Phil Jackson was going to be the architect, and that group that was brought in was questioned. You got to be happy for James Dolan today. The architects of that team were questioned at every turn for every move. Jalen Brunson was merely the first of the question moves, and you rarely get the kind of story that New York now has forever, which is, yeah, everyone did doubt that team, and no one thought that it would win the championship. Never mind dominate everybody. And, of course, they got the Spurs at the only time that you're going to get them. This is the time that you had to get a young team, and they got them at precisely the right time, which is why the Spurs will be favored next year in a way that the Knicks will not be favored next year.
I'm not 100% sure about that. I'm not.
Well, it's already so. The betting favorite is not the Knicks next year.
Oh, no. I understand that. Like, it's the Thunder, the Spurs, the Celtics, and then the Knicks. No, I understand that part. But the whole, you better get the Spurs right now. Look, this is 8 consecutive years of a brand new champion, of a unique champion in the NBA. And during those 8 years, only one of the teams that have even appeared in those finals even returned to finals, and that was the 2022 Celtics, which eventually made it back in 2024. So recent history would tell us the Spurs are not getting back anytime soon.
No, I disagree because all of those teams you mentioned, their core wasn't all under 23 years old. One of the things that was surprising to me about that series, and I don't think you guys will have a lot of comps for this. Can you play the sound of Wemby talking about how he thought that they basically were the better team all series? Because you've got a rare thing here, Zaz, where it felt like the team that was up 10 the entire series lost in 5 games. Like, that's not something that you see very often. Let's hear Wemby still confused by it afterward.
Every team you face so far, you guys always found a way to get over the top eventually. What did you learn about how hard it is to win the finals against this Knicks team where they kept coming up with answers? Brunson just could always score no matter what in the end.
I learned one of many things I learned is the margin of error is very, very thin. Our domination stints are absolute. We absolutely dominated for most of the series. But our errors, our mistakes, are punished so hard that we can't have ups and downs like this so much, you know. The ups are okay, the downs, it's the reason we lost.
I don't agree. I think he sounds ridiculous. I do. You know, you could say you dominated the whole series because for most of the series you were ahead, you got out to the huge leads. If you're ahead big every game and the other team winds up coming back and winning the game, the way that you dominated to get that huge lead, that then in theory means the other team dominated you in order to get back and ahead in that same game. And then you look at the actual numbers, the Spurs for the series. First quarter, Spurs were a plus 57. The Knicks were plus every other quarter in the entire series.
Well, I'll tell you what.
The Spurs did not dominate the series.
I'll tell you what it felt like to me. Do you guys watch any of those nature specials where a baby animal is born, doesn't have its legs, and then you see the predator just sort of hunting it down? By game 5, we all knew, including the Spurs, they were going to lose that lead. Like, because they did not have someone who has been doing in the playoffs what Brunson has been doing for 3 seasons now and always losing at the end. Brunson's seasons always end in failure, even though he's giving it everything he's got. But I want to look at this from a little bit of a historical perspective and ask you guys, where do you put Brunson now as an all-timer? Because we thought the Jokic thing would be recreatable as a champion. This guy never gets to win the championship. This player with this story is not allowed to be the number 1 player on a team and get past Wemby. It's just not something that happens in the history of the sport. If you're that size, you do not win at the end.
We've been talking a ton going into this series and throughout the series. Wembanyama, he's the guy. He's the face of the NBA. Why isn't Jalen Brunson the face of the NBA?
Well, he snuck up on everybody, man. He's still sneaking up on them. This is not somebody who's regarded as an all-timer except for because of that last game.
All right, but here we are. Like, we're here now. Why isn't Jalen Brunson? He wins everywhere. 2 NCAA championships, NBA championship, did in New York as a huge underdog, is a tremendous character. His father is assistant coach who trained him, and he winds up slaying the big beast in Wembanyama in this series. What? And New York, I mean, it's the biggest market in our country. Why isn't Jalen Brunson the face of the NBA?
It's a good question you're asking that we will answer over the entirety of the show. I see that they are now on Good Morning America, the 5 Knicks starters. OG Anunoby saying nothing, of course, because that's his thing. He is famously someone who doesn't date very much because he says someone's going to have to be really comfortable with a lot of silence. Like a lot of silence all of the time. And when you talk about what it is that Brunson just did, He took a discount to stay in New York. He's about to make all of that money well back with endorsements because he plays in that city. He is not going to be suffering at all from taking that discount. But because his father trained him the way he did, which was really regimented, it was brutal. It was hard, tough love. And here is how Brunson talks about gratitude afterward when he's asked about his father.
And you're getting to share this with your father. Just how special to you is that? We can see it.
That's it, then. You can see it.
I love it. I love it so much. When I'm watching it, it struck me as so organic and so real. And then, you got like Jason Tatum. Oh, my God, we did it. Oh, my God. Like, this guy was real, Jalen Brunson. That was, like, I loved watching that, man. I know I'm not supposed to because I'm a Heat fan, but whatever,
You're also not supposed to try and impersonate Jason Tatum
in
a way that makes Roy drop his head
double down.
in
Be careful.
shame.
Just be careful.
The Spurs led for 72% of the series, and the Knicks are now responsible for the first, second, and fifth biggest comeback in NBA Finals history. That's why Wemby sounds confused. That's why Zaz disagrees with him. But let's get to the question he's asking, because has an immortal ever snuck up on us this way? Usually in basketball, we have tons and tons of warning. It's not always...
Jokic, right?
It's not always doubt. Yeah, but Jokic, we saw everything that he was doing, and then when he won the championship, it's not like we were surprised by it. He was the MVP of the league. Brunson doesn't finish MVP of the league. Brunson's not ever in the conversation, any of them.
Should be.
Now, who's the face of the league? Who's the best player in the league?
He's also not high-flying, right? You give it to Anthony Edwards, who does these high-flying acrobatic dunks. He's got the swag. He's got this. He's got that. Wemby's 7'5". Like, it's easy to put those guys in those boxes. Brunson has hairy shoulders. He plays kind of awkward.
I've noticed that.
He's got very hairy shoulders, and it's like that can't be the face of the league. It can't be Gillette. Hey, I use it to shave my shoulders. That's crazy.
And Jokic also looks different in terms of that lumbering body, but he's a big man and he's a foreigner. And so there's all this mythical stuff we can draw around him. But when you look at some of the names and the athleticism of the last several finals MVPs, Shea himself was an emerging young star. Brunson's a veteran. You had Jaylen Brown and the story they built over years in Boston. Jokic, Curry, Antetokounmpo, LeBron, Kawhi. The more we go back, the more you see the peak athleticism. And Brunson as a veteran now, as that player, it does sneak up on you.
I want to go back to the hair on the shoulders. I thought I was the only person who noticed that a few games ago.
Oh, no. If you've been watching Jalen Brunson, you know he's got hairy shoulders.
I
going
noticed
back to
it one day. I'm
Villanova.
like, look at that. I've never seen that.
He'll
with an
shave
NBA
him this
player.
offseason.
He said it to somebody on the court. I don't remember what game
Really?
it was. He said, I have to shave my shoulders.
Yeah.
I have to find that sound.
No,
but-
the problem is that he originally shaved his shoulders, and now he's going to forever have to
He's growing
shave
back,
his
yeah.
shoulders.
Very
It's
interesting.
Is that real or is that a myth?
Like the chiropractor, once you start, you have to keep going.
It is a thing. If you start shaving, you're
Comes
going
back
to have
thicker.
to keep shaving because it's going to come back stronger. You're never going to win that battle with your hair unless you're bald. His shoulders won't go bald. Put it on the poll, Juju, at Le Batard Show. Does Jalen Brunson deserve to be underregarded because he has hair on his shoulders?
I think another good example of that snuck up all-star, superstar face of the league is Kawhi Leonard, right? Like, Kawhi got traded. Kawhi was on, wait a second, he's on the Spurs team, but he's kind of like a young guy. LeBron turns over and says,
It was his second
bleep.
year in the league, right, that he won the MVP, Finals MVP?
I mean, yeah, but nobody saw that
No,
coming from a guy that got traded.
Kawhi is a good one in terms of a confusing team like the Raptors, but it ain't this. And all the other guys that Jeremy mentioned except Curry, they're all big. They're all 6'5", 6'6". None of them are ever the smallest guy on the court. I do think one of the things that's going to happen here, because a lot of people are really mad to see New York happy, and especially the New York celebrity elite happy, one of the things that's going to happen is that a lot of the concentration is going to be on the failures of the Spurs instead of the successes of the Knicks. And I believe actually, Zaz, that's fair because there haven't been a whole lot of examples that you've ever had, not just in basketball, anywhere in sports, where you're watching a team that you know is good enough, talented enough to win a championship, and you're like, oh, they don't actually know how to win at the end. They don't know how to do it. They don't know what's required of them in late game situations so that a series that they legitimately could have swept, they end up losing because at the end of the games, the last 3 minutes, it started with all of us knowing that Brunson was the best player in the fourth quarter, but by the end of that series, the Spurs knew it, because the most impressive thing about what Brunson just did in that closeout game, the most impressive thing, is that you had all the time to prepare. You know exactly what they're going to do and what he's going to do. And you could not stop it at the end when he went for your throat. There was no surprise in he's going to be the one who's trying to get to 30 and 40 points, and he kills you with 45 in the last game, has 45 of your 94 points.
Let me give you some numbers here. In the fourth quarter, in the final 2 games of the series, Jalen Brunson had 24 points. He was 7 of 12 from the floor. He was 9 of 10 from the free throw line, and a plus 32. Victor Wembanyama in the final 2 games in the fourth quarter, 8 points, 3 of 14 from the floor, 2 of 6 from the free throw line, and a minus 25. Like, the Spurs did not dominate. Just because you get out to a huge first quarter lead every game, and the Knicks are chipping away, so you're still ahead by a lot, that doesn't mean you dominated the series. They didn't. The Knicks dominated the series. The Spurs had a good quarter.
Per OptaStats, there have been 48 total 5-game spans by a team in NBA history where they led by 8 or more at the end of the first quarter in all 5. That includes this NBA Finals. In 47 of the 48, the team had a winning record over those 5 games. Everyone except for the Spurs in the finals.
And it wasn't only the players, by the way. You know, and Wembanyama, maybe he was tired, maybe the moment was too big. I don't know. But it wasn't only the players. I was showing Tony earlier before we started. Mitch Johnson had a really bad series. A really young coach. And look, it's weird how we'll do this with players. Right, Wembanyama, he's only in his 3rd year in the league. He's going to learn. You know, he's going to learn. He's going to get better. We don't do that with coaches. You know, like why wouldn't a coach get better and better from when he's younger and get some experience? And that's probably going to be the case with Mitch Johnson. But Mitch Johnson was bad. Like, I'm showing Tony the clip of when Mitchell Robinson, they're up by 3, Hart misses a free throw, there's 25 seconds left in the game, and Mitchell Robinson grabs the offensive rebound on the free throw line, and it led to them fouling Anunoby, and he put the game away, and they went up by 4. But when he grabs that rebound, Mitch Johnson is signaling to his team, foul, foul, foul. There's an 11-second differential, shot clock and game clock. You don't foul there. And Mitch Johnson is signaling, foul, foul, foul. And then you go back, of course, to the game before that, not guarding the inbounds pass. Like, he had a really bad series, the coach.
And also in the last game, you draw up a couple of shots for De'Aaron Fox when you know he's ice cold. He's 3 for 15.
And you double down on Fox. He's our guy. He's going to have the ball at the end of the next game, just like he did this game. All right, and he went 3 for 14.
Guys, though, what happened here is that team doesn't know how to win at the end because of the way basketball's distorted everything. When are the close games that they have played? Like the game they won in overtime against OKC, they won because Wemby took a bad shot and made it with 27 seconds from a million miles away. And so they delude themselves into thinking that they have something at the end of games, when what did they have at the end of games? 18-foot jumpers. Who can get us an 18-foot jumper? We're not going to get fouls. We're not going to get anything. We're choking here. Everybody in the world watching this knows that we're flailing here. And they've got someone with a knife in their hands. Like they've got the best fourth quarter player in the league for the last 3 years running, playoffs and regular season. They've got a killer. They've got someone that when Mitch Johnson looks and says, bail me out, he's got to look at De'Aaron Fox. That's where he's got to look, because he doesn't have anything else that has any experience in late and tight games.
I don't know. Dylan Harper looked pretty experienced, because every time that guy got the ball,
he was the only guy who gave him anything last game.
It was like, ooh, this guy looks like a 10-year vet the way he's commanding the offense.
And that's why, on top of how horrible De'Aaron Fox was, Game 4 and Game 5, game on the line. He's your veteran. He's supposed to be the guy you can count on. It's why a $200+ million contract is kicking in next season. But because of De'Aaron Fox's massive failures this series and Dylan Harper's very clear emergence, like, they have to trade De'Aaron Fox this offseason.
That's another thing that was obvious over the last 3 games, I would say, that they had to be moving the ball through Harper a lot more than they were. Like, that was a player who felt like he belonged in that moment and was just about the only one. It wasn't Wemby, because he was still confused afterwards, saying, this is a huge learning lesson, but I don't know what the hell I learned. Is that sound that you're making with your hand puppet telling me that video doesn't have the
We were going to do a
that
puppet where Roy puts
clearly
his moves.
asked for that you said that we had and was ready to be thrown to? Is that what that is saying with your hand?
Yes, the video is in my preview screen, and it looked like it was ready to go, and it's not playing.
I have a stat to
I
help
think
with your.
Compared to anything before, this is the biggest lesson of my life, the biggest learning moment. I can't tell exactly what the lesson is, but we're learning from that for sure. I'm learning more than any other time in my life before.
Can you currently be learning if you don't know the lesson?
Dan, can I ask you a question? Can you do all the talking that Wembanyama did throughout the series, all the flagrant fouls? Boy, was he dirty. And he got away with a flagrant foul that should have had him suspended if there were going to be a Game 6. Can you do all the Wembanyama stuff, not shake hands after the game, and shoot 34% from the floor in the fourth quarter of the NBA Finals? Woof.
Can you guys think off of the top of your head of another example, not just the hot takey, hey, they choked, where you were obviously watching a team that didn't know how to win at the end? Like those numbers we just gave you, we can blame any number of people and things for everything that happened there, but the numbers that we just gave you, where the Spurs are better the entirety of the game, but clearly the last 3 minutes, the other team is better, and the Spurs know that they're going to get hunted down from behind. They just know it because we know it, they know it, and everyone knows it, that game is late. You've still got the double-digit lead, and you see that it's just going down, ever so slightly down. And the more that it goes down, the more the noose tightens around all of those young players who are saying, wait a minute, are we going to end up again in the situation where Anunoby's going to fly in from out of nowhere and beat us when we're going to sit there stunned because we can't believe that we don't know how to do this at the end? It's just a super rare thing, right? I want to say it's youth. Like, I don't want to say it's mental frailty. I don't think it's that the moment got too big for them. I think that the games get harder in the playoffs and the games get harder at the end of the playoffs. And the only way you learn that is by losing during it. That's how everybody in basketball learns it. It's how Brunson had to learn it. Throughout the history of basketball, the way it is that Wemby goes into the offseason and develops more of a post-up game is this hurts so much and he's so embarrassed that he realizes he has to get better. When you're making the shot from 30 feet against OKC, you don't realize that you have to get better at late game situations there. If you could just haul up and 29 seconds out, take a terrible three.
Well, you have your answer, Dan. You answered your own question. It's identical mirror image to LeBron against JJ Barea. Like, you thought you had all this stuff in your bag, and then you realize the most important thing, the most fundamental thing that they teach you as a big guy playing when you're growing up is back to the basket moves. How do you get a go-to move when somebody smaller is guarding you? Barbecue chicken in the post, go get a bucket, and he wasn't able to do that, and he's taller than everybody on the court.
And De'Aaron Fox, their vet guard, couldn't set him up, right? So you have this big man, this freak of nature, where he's not really doing a good job of creating his own shot late, but that's what they're relying on with Wemby instead of putting him in position to succeed. And when LeBron had the ball in his hands at the end of those games, he clearly didn't know how to play back to the basket and not only set up others, but get his own shot. And Dan, to your point on blowing teams out and not knowing how to win late, 8 of the 10 losses for the Spurs were by 10 points or fewer. But 9 of their 13 wins in this postseason were by double digits. Several of those 20 or more.
The last time I could remember a team that didn't know what to do late in huge games, that was not comfortable in that spot because they hadn't played in very many of those spots, it was in the movie Miracle. In 1980, in the U.S.-Soviet hockey situation, late in the game, the U.S. was ahead. The Soviets, they were never trailing late. And the Soviet coach, he didn't know what to do. He didn't pull Mishkin for the extra skater. The U.S. was up by a goal. The clock's ticking down. It's ticking down. And he didn't know to pull Michigan. He didn't know what to do.
The reason that I believe that the Knicks fan has an unusual story to celebrate today is because if you look at, let's just say, the Miami Heat's championships, plural, all three of them, you can celebrate that Dwayne Wade was homegrown, but those championships were won because you went out and got somebody regarded as an immortal in LeBron James and Shaquille O'Neal. The Knicks got Karl Anthony Towns. They're not homegrown either. It's a bunch of trades. It's free agency and trades. It's Brunson. It's Anunoby traded for. It's Karl Anthony Towns traded for. It's Bridges traded for.
Is there a single player on the team? Literally, is there a single player on the team that drafted? There might not
Deuce
be.
Deuce McBride got drafted.
It's not homegrown, but it is a bunch of people that were doubted as soon as you acquired them. Shaq and LeBron were not doubted when the Miami Heat acquired them. They have had, since the beginning, a bunch of doubt about the moves that they're making. The first championship that the Heat won in 2006 was a bunch of weird stray parts where Antoine Walker never really fit. And you saw what happened the year after where it all just came apart because they weren't actually a team. They were just a bunch of mercenaries playing together, and Dwayne Wade got a million foul calls in that series.
Oh, what a series.
But the Knicks fan has in their possession a team that's just really easy to love because there hasn't quite been a basketball story like this where no one thought you were going to win the championship this year. And every single one of the moves you've made has had its doubt. You heard us play all the sound on Brunson. Karl Anthony Towns was viewed as a soft guy. It's amazing to think that Wiggins and Towns have now won a title and Jimmy Butler hasn't. That those guys talk about, look,
Never will.
I bet you Wiggins and Towns were older than all those Spurs when Butler dusted them in that practice. I bet you Wiggins and Towns were older and viewed as soft, even though they weren't as young as those Spurs were, coach and all, because Amin's been saying all week, and he's been texting me that today should be capitulation day, that he was right, that Amin was right, that the Spurs weren't experienced enough to win the title. The problem with that is he told us the Spurs were going to lose to OKC, and once you say that, I don't think you get to be right forever.
I think the Thunder are going to destroy them.
He was talking about next year. That's what it was, Dan.
But should we be capitulating? Because he says that
to me.
He says we should be capitulating to him.
He keeps saying that. You're using big words. I don't know what they mean.
Why should we be capitulating
You
to
know
you,
exactly
Tony?
why.
Why?
You know
Because
exactly why.
Well, why? Because you hate Wemby?
No, not because I hate Wemby. Because I told you he's inherently evil. And series after series after series after series.
Tony's closer to right than wrong at this point.
He's shown he is evil. He does things that are non-basketball plays. The play against Brunson was despicable.
Dan, how was that not called a flagrant? They didn't even
Despicable.
call it. How is that not a flagrant foul? He would have been suspended for the next game. Do you think, would they have retroactively given it to him? Because you remember,
They had to,
when
Zaz.
LaMelo Ball did the thing to Bam, there was no call in game, and they retroactively gave LaMelo the flagrant foul. Would they have retroactively given Wembanyama the very obvious flagrant foul and suspension in Game 6?
Integrity of leave. They would have had to. There's no way.
There's no way they would have.
There's no
You're
way
wrong.
that they can sit there and be like, no, you know what? It was a clean play. It wasn't.
They would,
it absolutely
They
wasn't.
would not have done it. How could you possibly do it?
Gotta grow a pair, Adam Silver.
What happens to Wemby's reputation over those last 5 games when you get that kind of shrinking to the size of a postage stamp? Does anyone use postage stamps anymore?
How else do you send mail?
Well, I just think people are emailing now and they don't send mail anymore. I don't think that people send mail anymore. I think
What do you
the
think the
postal
mailmen are out there doing?
There's still always a line at that damn post office.
Nobody's ever mailed anything in their entire lives. Everybody's confused. What do
What's
I do?
the deal with
Where's the
that?
boxes? The box over here, buddy. Let's go.
There will be no mails if the Democrats have their way.
And then I get in line, and somebody who's filling something out like 20 feet behind me says they were in line but walked. It's like, no. If you're filling something out over there, you're not in line, buddy.
Or maybe only mails.
Get to the
I'm
back.
a little confused.
I actually have to send a letter today, so I'll find out for you.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Do you have stamps in your house? Yes or no?
I got a roll of stamps at the house. Don't do anything with them, but they're there. Maybe in 40 years they'll be worth something.
The hell would I have
Hold
those
on to
for?
them.
I want to know the Postal Service is famously a flawed business model, okay? Because they keep raising the price of stamps because fewer and fewer people are using stamps. And so eventually stamps are going to cost $1 million because it's just going to be Elon Musk wants to mail stuff and that's how he's going to do it. But I don't believe people under 30, put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Do people under 30 have stamps in their house? Yes or no?
I mean, look, you say that, and we can make fun of the young people here, but how many of us in this room know how much money needs to be on, an envelope to send out postage?
I was going to ask, sometimes you have to put a couple stamps on it, right?
Like how much do the stamps need to be worth? Like
I literally did not know that was a thing.
Okay, so let me do this because the last
You just
time
put a stamp.
The last time I used a
No,
stamp,
it's a certain amount of money.
I think it was 38 cents the last time I used.
I
a
have no
stamp.
idea.
What is it now, Roy? It might have been 36 cents. I might have that.
Jeremy,
wrong.
like you don't notice on envelopes sometimes there are multiple stamps. It's not for decoration.
I mean, clearly, but I don't get enough envelopes to think about.
You
this.
weren't aware that stamps had that it.
I mean, I
cost-
get you have to buy stamps.
It's a postage value on the stamp.
And if something's a little heavier, you have to. If it's heavier, you have to put more stamps on it. If it's
It ain't heavy. It's my mail.
A first class forever stamp is 78 cents right now. What? Stamp for metered letters right now is 74 cents.
What? That's high. It feels high.
So wait a minute. You're telling me
double what you said, Dan.
I know because I haven't used a stamp. It's probably been 10 years since I've used a stamp. Are you telling me that the price of stamps? What about just a regular stamp that's not first class, that's not anything? Because that sounds very expensive. I don't believe that the stamp has gone up.
Everything has doubled.
Yeah,
though.
no, yes, that's true. But I don't think the stamp has doubled in the last 10 years. I believe there
A
is.
Big Mac has doubled.
There has indeed been inflation on stamps. I just don't believe it's been double in the last.
I think Roy might be right.
You're telling me one letter of any kind that I need to mail is going to cost me 78 cents to mail anything? That's
send an email for free at the price of my soul getting sucked up by Google.
This is a rare combination in our chat where half the people are judging us for not knowing this and half the people are learning how expensive. It's like everyone is very polarized on this
Postcards,
topic right
though, 61 cents. Those are cheap.
Last time you sent a
Jeremy's so
postcard.
confused. He has no idea this
Well,
was a thing.
I got to be honest. I'm stunned that it's doubled in 10 years because I didn't think it had been 10 years since I mailed a stamp. And I was legitimately scared when I said 38 cents. I thought they still might be 36. So I went immediately down to 36 because I got scared. I'm like, no, I don't want to get
Gotta be
it
2
wrong.
cents cheaper.
Right. But no, it's doubled in cost. And yes, Chris, I do believe that there are still people that are actively using the Postal Service. It seems to be not a thriving industry, but one that employs a great many people who still walk around the neighborhood.
Regular envelopes, 78 cents worth of stamps have to be on it. But how about those, like the bigger, like a wedding invitation, the bigger envelopes, $1.27 of postage stamps.
If it's heavier, it costs a little more. That is correct. And we are learning this as a show. We are showing our ignorance, I do believe, in learning this as a show. And I believe that what you just saw from the Spurs was ignorance in late game situations.
You think Wembanyama knows about those stamps?
I don't know what the rules are with the French economy and stamps and the French postal
Put
service.
stuff in the mail all willy-nilly, those French.
I
Do
don't
they
know.
even have mail over there? Do they? I don't know.
Yes.
The French Postal Service?
Yes.
Like, please.
Yes. What do you mean?
Please.
What
The
kind
FPS.
of what kind of commentary is that? The French Postal Service.
The French
please.
Postal Service. You think they got a guy with a mailbag walking around putting mail in people's mailboxes? They probably don't even have mailboxes.
Just
in France.
grumpy, handing
That's
out
just
mail.
the French. That he doesn't have to
Exactly.
be. He or she doesn't have to be holding an envelope in order to be grumpy.
I love mail workers here, but I will say, some of them are grumpy, some are not.
I'll tell you, the
Some
table's really turned on Wembanyama. He was the darling, and now it's like we're fighting with the French.
He did take a hit in this series when you go from dethroning the defending champions. And if you had placed me in the parade of gas bags, you would have heard me say that the championship was being decided in the West when the Spurs and OKC were playing, because I think that's what everybody thought. Everybody except New York. And so Nobody believed in us. We did it against all odds. Ends up becoming a real thing for New York and a team for all time and a player for all time. Because I do think now we have to elevate Brunson. We are obligated to elevate Brunson. I don't believe he's ever in any of the conversations, nor will he ever be in any of the conversations of he's the best player in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's not something that people will do.
I mean, I think he should be in that conversation.
I don't think he will be. Even after this, I think that the things that you guys were mentioning, which is we needed to be a high flyer. We needed to be somebody that's not too big, because too big, we're not going to love Goliath. Mortal enough to seem like a human being, but also someone who flies through the air in a way that Brunson does not, somehow getting all of his shots off. Because I actually wonder now, I'm dead serious about this without looking at any of the numbers. Allen Iverson was a cultural icon. He wasn't a champion. And I can't say that he's better than Brunson. Can you?
He's not better than Brunson.
He's not.
But I mean, I think before this series, anybody listening to this would have regarded Allen Iverson as better than Brunson because he's the guy who got the 35 shots and shot inefficiently. Like, Brunson does not shoot inefficiently. The miracle of this series is that the Knicks won the first 2 games with Brunson playing pretty poorly for him. Like, that last game is more on brand. He does that a lot. The last game he had, when everybody in the world knows you need to make sure he can't and doesn't do that. When the Knicks are floundering around in that first quarter, a dreadful first quarter of that game, when they're floundering around, did it look to you like Brunson was going to have 45 in that game?
They had 15 like midway through the second quarter.
Yeah, it almost
they won the championship.
It was crazy because at halftime we were like, okay, like a regular game from Brunson, they really got to step up here. And then all of a sudden you turn around and he's got 40 and you're like, how did that happen?
There is actually something that doesn't get talked about at all in basketball. There is an art to protecting a 25-point lead. It's a skill. It is a skill. I know that
holding, the most important part.
25-point leads, that there is a skill involved with that, and there's also a skill involved in Brunson preserving himself so that he has something in the tank when everyone's gassed. Because those fourth quarter numbers are just insane. Like, it doesn't compute that a player that size would be going down right now, just numerically, empirically. If I said to you, hey, is Brunson the second best clutch player ever after Jordan? It's not an asinine thing to say. Just statistically, given that he scores the way that he does late in games, always. It's not some of the time. It's always. You know you got to stop him. You know everyone's tired. You know he's going to put up 20 in the fourth quarter.
It's like when you said, like, how do you know that Jalen Brunson doesn't have it? And it's like when he proves to me in the fourth quarter that he's not who he thinks he is. And every single game he continues to be who he is, which is captain fourth quarter.
And he continues to sport those hairy shoulders.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, we did it. Oh, my God.
Do you like breathing hot neck on the neck of hot?
Wow.
Are you turned on? Do you like
Dangling.
breathing hot neck?
What's going on here?
Do you like
Sexy.
breathing hot neck?
You have been dry humped many, many times.
Intimate.
You have been dry humped
Wow.
many, many times.
Little pelvic thrust situation?
I like that.
Have you ever consoled a naked man before?
What does it feel like to get dry humped?
I saw pee-pee.
I've never consoled a naked man.
Breathing hot neck.
I've never consoled a naked man.
Many, many times.
I saw pee-pee.
People out there, stop sending me pictures of the hotel rooms with the chair, okay? Stop sending those to me.
I like that. I like that.
He was naked,
Intimate.
dangling.
I would hold that thing really tight.
How would you do it?
What's going on here?
Do you like
Sexy.
breathing hot neck? Do you like breathing hot neck?
I've been dry humps.
You never know.
I've been dry humps.
Many, many times.
I've never consoled a naked man.
Have you ever consoled a naked man?
I've never consoled a naked man.
Many, many times.
You
never know.
You know what I'm talking about.
Chris Cody and Roy revealed this to me. And Roy, I don't know the context of what it is that you guys were talking about that revealed this about Chris Cody.
Yeah, Chris asked me what the sound from the first down for the Dolphins games were. And I said
it's just a noise I've made throughout my entire life. It's just like I just did it. Hoo-wah!
Yeah.
And to me, that's another Miami Dolphins first down.
Well, let's find out. Let's find out if your dad knows, because he's not a real moviegoer. Instead of impersonating the sound, do you have the actual sound? Greg Cody, do you know who's making this sound?
Hoo-ah! I do.
Clark Gable.
Come on.
It's the famous actor.
Rock Hudson.
Oh, this is great. He doesn't know it.
No, it's the famous actor. And I got to pin his name down because I don't think
you should be able to say this immediately.
I don't think it's Robert De Niro.
No.
But I think it's
in the neighborhood.
In the neighborhood. Give me a second. Robert De Niro.
Humphrey
Bogart. Al Pacino.
Hey, there you go.
If someone said that in his headphones, you're fired.
Now,
no,
what movie?
nobody said
what
that.
Movie?
It's APEC. What movie?
Streetcar Named Desire.
You ain't you. No, you're not man enough to know the truth. Something like
no.
That's a few good men, and that's a few good men.
Good answer.
And it's you're not man enough to know the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
Don't know.
It's a different movie. Pacino was not in it.
You're not man enough to know the truth.
That was originally a line. Nicholson ad-libbed.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Was Pacino in A Few Good Men? Was a blind Pacino?
Okay, who did he say?
It's been 53 long years, and there's so many moments of misery that we had to endure as New York Knicks fans. And to be here tonight, I gotta confess, until this series, I never thought it would happen.
My entire life I've been waiting for this moment. I've been dreaming of this moment. I've been living and dying for this moment. I am out of my skull. I don't even know what to think. I don't even know what to do. I don't even know how to feel other than completely euphoric. This is truly a dream come true.
How do you feel?
As happy as I've ever felt. It's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing.
It's been 53 years. 53 years! Hey, take us through what every Knicks fan in the world is thinking right now.
You know what I'm thinking? Back to back!
What a moment. What a moment for New York, for the Knicks. There's my brother John. Look at John and Spike. Oh my God, hey Johnny! Yeah, props are happy for my brother John, a lifelong Knicks fan. And Spike.
It is time to celebrate. I'm so happy I'd even hug James Dolan, but just for a quick second, and then move on.
Way rather this than the Oscars. Come on, baby. Knicks are champions, baby.
We outside right now. Get my makeup done right now. The streets is calling me. The streets is calling me.
I haven't tasted a championship in a long time with the Yankees, but man, this is great. I'm so happy. I'm so proud of them. I wasn't there, but I'm always there in spirit. God bless the New York Knicks and New York and my brother John. I'm so happy for you, brother. Love you.
Mike, what's up? It's Mars Blackman. I know it's been a long time. You know, we haven't talked in a minute. The New York Knicks are world champions. Call me back. Orange blue skies. What's up, Mike?
And to be here tonight witnessing the end of a 53-year drought. Born in the Bronx, raised in Hollis, Queens, New York City. Been a New York Knicks fan all my life. I never thought I'd see it. I don't even know what to say. I can't even put into words how this feels. It's the best feeling I've ever had in my life.
Go New York, go New York, go.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Is it weird to any of you to see the media this openly cheering? Any of you? Like, or have the walls fallen on that so entirely?
I don't think that's a thing anymore. I think that's so long ago that Wilbon wore his Cubs jersey doing reporting on the field.
Well, he wasn't doing reporting on the field.
He had a microphone in hand.
Well, but he was just throwing out the first pitch with his Cubs jersey tucked into his jeans. Like, he was throwing out an honorary first pitch, but that time is dead then? You're just telling me it's totally over.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with our senior Knicks correspondent. He is radiant, and I'm not used to seeing it. It's weird to see him radiant because his career is now over, because he's a happy human being, and he can't be as funny as he is if he's going to be just a buoyant, radiant, happy human being. So Sam Morrill is with us. Sam, look at him. Have you slept? Like, what's going on with you right now? What kind of thing has happened in your life ever that compares to this?
I mean, this is crazy, dude. This was, I haven't slept. It's crazy.
And that is the kind of enthusiasm I expected.
He's pumped.
Yes, rioting in the streets. How do you feel about Wemby today?
He's a great player. Not a good sport. I've just never seen a French person be rude or arrogant before, so it's weird for me to see. But, he's an incredible talent. I hope he learns from this, because that young Spurs team's incredible. But Wemby, it's just so weird to be 7'5" and also dirty. Like, you're already great. It's like if George Clooney roofied. You don't need to. Use the talent that you got. Use the skills. You've got the tools.
What was your reaction when Wembanyama was not called for what should have been a flagrant by sticking his foot under Brunson when he shot the three?
I was pretty upset. I think most Knicks fans were like, what the hell? What's it going to take? I get that he's the face of the league, but, come on, man. It just felt like at a certain point he was trying to injure us. So, as I said, I think he's a great player, but, frustration, I guess.
Where did you watch the game? Give us some details of how it is the last hour played out for you of that championship game.
I watched at my friend Stavros's. It was pretty stressful. It was, but the thing about this Knicks team is the comebacks are crazy. We were down, I think, 10 points every game. So, it was kind of painful to watch at times, because you're like, are we going to come back? You know what it felt like? It felt like watching any of those classic prison movies like Shawshank
I
for
love
2
prison
hours.
movies. Love prison movies.
Well, we're just getting the shit kicked out of us for 2 hours, and then the last 10 minutes you're just like, that was great. They find a way where you're like, this was good. But yeah, I mean, for most of the game you're just kind of getting beat up, and then they'd find a way. I mean, that comeback game 4 was crazy. That comeback, the Brunson masterclass, game 5, crazy.
Sam, so Stavi's a Ravens fan, but also a Knicks fan at the same time?
Well, he's from Baltimore, so he didn't have a basketball team.
He's got the Wizards.
You can't know. If you know anything about people from Baltimore, they can't root for the Wizards. They're rivals. So when he came to New York, he was like, this is the one sport I can adopt the team in. And I think my enthusiasm, and he's legit, because he got into the Knicks when our best player was Tim Hardaway. So you can give him that,
Didn't you used to do in-game entertainment for Madison Square Garden? Did you and Stavi did a basketball pod together? But didn't you also work around or for MSG?
We did. Yeah, I had a region, a New York region Emmy nomination for interviewing on MSG.
That was your second best Knicks moment before Saturday night?
Yeah, my second best Knicks moment was losing to the Joe Girardi show. No, Stav was telling me, I forgot this because I blocked out some of the pain, but we were at the game where Porzingis tore his ACL. We were at some painful games together. So, sharing the joy with your friends, it's pretty cool. My brother and I were at the Ewing finger roll game together, so that he was the first person I FaceTimed. You think about the losses and the pain, and then you get to celebrate with your friends and the people you're close to. So, Yeah, we went on 7th Avenue. As expected, it was madness. It was awesome. Hugged a lot of strangers. Stav gave out pizza. Judd Apatow was with us. He was just like filming. We're like, this is hilarious. We're going to have footage that Judd filmed. So this is, we'll hold on to that. It'll be fun.
Dan, he keeps saying his friend Stav. His friend is the guy that was in Begonia?
That's right.
That's a good movie.
Didn't even audition for it. He was surprised by the call. Let's put up this picture here for Sam. It's a rare picture where you get Patrick Ewing holding a trophy that he was not able to win. The ghost of Patrick Ewing sort of lingers around this franchise as the best player they've ever had before the guy that's standing next to him. That picture is cool. And Jalen Brunson, you've never had a relationship with an athlete like the one you have with Jalen Brunson, right? Where you love him more than you love people you actually love that are in your life every day, correct?
Oh yeah, I mean he's changed all of our lives in New York. He's incredible. He's a legend forever. He took a $100 million pay cut and it paid off. So I mean, I think when he did that, we were all like, wow, just the gesture's cool, but to pull it off, legend.
Look, I don't like the Knicks, but I found myself moved by the Ewing Brunson picture and Ewing standing there holding the Larry O'Brien trophy because, you think of the all-time great NBA players who never won. Ewing is one of the first you mentioned. You mentioned Ewing, you mentioned Barkley, you mentioned Stockton and Malone, Reggie Miller. None of those guys' teams eventually won after they left. Like those teams have still not won. And Patrick Ewing now is actually standing there holding the trophy, which we've been saying for decades he's one of the greatest to never win. It'd be like if the Dolphins won the Super Bowl, it'd be like if the post-celebration pictures, Marino is posing with the Vince Lombardi trophy. And I found the picture to be very moving. Like, I never seen anything like that before.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. It was pretty cool. And it wasn't, just him. It was Bernard King. It was all these old Knicks. I mean, Walt Clyde Frazier, who's, kind of the face of MSG, and all the guys, you could see it meant a lot to them, and Ewing and Houston and Sprewell and all these guys like Starks. It was tough because I remember in Game 4 when Josh Hart missed that breakaway layup, and it's like, Josh Hart's become beloved the way John Starks is beloved, and you just don't want anything to tarnish how much we care about these players and how much we've grown to love this team. So I was like, please don't lose this fucking game. When Josh missed that, because you think of John Starks at 2 for 18 and how it probably haunts him to this day. So the fact that they pulled off that comeback, like, thank God for that, because this felt like such a magical run. They won the in-season tournament. They had this crazy playoff run. It's cool that they just pulled it off.
Before we let Sam go, I just want to give him his punctuation, one little parting gift here from our show.
Jalen Brunson isn't the answer.
It's an awful idea.
And for what? To go all in hopes of signing Jalen Brunson?
And by the way, he's not a 1. I'm not even sure he's a real 2.
And I worry that they're gonna look at Jalen Brunson. And they're like, wait, we spent $27 million a year on this?
I think the Thunder are going to destroy them.
The saddest sweepstakes ever. The Jalen Brunson sweepstakes. Is Jalen Brunson one of the 10 best point guards in basketball? Maybe he's 10.
I don't think he's top 10. I mean, he might not be top 14.
I don't think this is a move that puts them into playoff contention.
It's got to be something in addition to Jalen Brunson.
But it is not going to be the type of player that elevates them into contender status.
But, I mean, do we think Brunson is a guy that is going to bring them to a second-round playoff series? He's not.
I think the Thunder are going to destroy them.
I mean, Kevin Durant is playing basketball in New York City, and you're just, talking about, can we get Brunson?
I think the Thunder are going to destroy them.
The Knicks are acting like he's KD. I'm going to repeat, Jalen Brunson.
Your thoughts, Sam, on that, and Stephen A. Smith saying it's the greatest feeling he's ever had in his life.
Well, I've said this about Stephen A. Smith before, but he's a Knicks fan the way Epstein's a Jew, technically, but we don't really claim him. I'll also say this, acting like he's KD, he's not KD. He didn't join a super team. He joined and built the team. So much respect to KD. He's a great player, but you got to put Brunson in a different category. This is a Kawhi or Dirk Finals MVP. this is pretty badass. And yeah, we can't believe it. I mean, it's a crazy run. All those people are going to have to remember doubting this great player who became an underdog story. It's going to be a great 30 for 30, great Ben Stiller doc. And I'll say this, when we signed him, I was like, he's going to be great. And I knew it because even his floor was going to be the best Knicks point guard in 20 years. Even if he wasn't that as good as I thought he's going to be, then I didn't think he was going to be this good. Obviously, no one did. But even if he was what he was in Dallas, he's our best point guard since Marbury, right? So I was hyped. I was hyped about the OG move. I was also hyped about the Andrea Bargnani move. I'm a delusional Knicks fan. You can work yourself up about
That's
anything.
a big stretch five, though, Sam. That dude could hit a three.
I was like, dude, him with Carmelo, it could work. It could work. You never know. So I've talked myself into madness, but yeah, I mean, holy shit. I mean, I always believe, but I kind of can't believe it.
Good to see you. Congratulations. You are a champion, sir, and a champion that nobody thought was going to be the champion. Congratulations.
Can't believe it. All right. Thanks, guys.
See you later. You could just feel the joy popping from him. It's like a champagne bottle opening. The party just starts immediately. If you're wondering, incidentally, why it is that we have not talked at all about the Stanley Cup final and Carolina winning the championship.
It's an asterisk. Come on.
It's because they didn't do it against the Panthers, and it doesn't count. You can just put an asterisk on it, and that concludes our Stanley Cup final coverage. Also, I realize that the World Cup is in town because I hear pub songs being sung in accents all over our city. Everywhere, just drunken pub songs being sung, and it was just a giant sports weekend in general. We're going to have Luke Thomas on here in a second to talk about the fights.
See, I told you we're going to talk about the fights. Let's go.
I don't think we're going to end up talking about the fights themselves very much. I think we're going to talk about just
good fights.
The general corruption that is happening.
You should have ended that last one quicker.
In the link between, thank you, appreciate the commentary there.
It's a good note by him.
The director, film. Director's cut there, director's commentary. You could have saved it till after the show, commercial break, before the show tomorrow. But good that you just told the audience that we should have cut Sam off 3 minutes early. I appreciate that.
Ever seen a rain delay for UFC?
I mean, they were fighting under really suspect conditions. Look, I do have to give Dana White credit on this because he did this during the pandemic as well when no one could get his business up and running. They did something that I never imagined UFC would ever be able to do in any way in making themselves this kind of mainstream. They've done it corruptly. They've done it with an alliance to Trump that's unseemly that we will talk about with Luke Thomas here in a second. And I'm not bothered by sort of the optics of whatever you think is the classlessness of having cage fights at the center of our government. Washington is a swamp. They fought outdoors. That's not good for the fighters. They fought in the heat, mosquitoes, rain. None of that is good for the fighters. But they pulled off an event that is really hard to pull off. And I don't believe a lot of people understand just how hard it was to do all of that. And the fights being good, that is a victory last night for the UFC. I don't think it's a victory for our country. I don't think it's a victory for our president, but it is a victory for the UFC that they're able to, their constituency, they rewarded with a giant event that was, delayed by rain because they can't control the weather, but it's flat out crazy to do that outdoors. Like it's just insane to do any of that without a roof and allow the weather to play at any kind of elements. Like that event could have been a disaster even with perfect weather. It could have been even more of a disaster than that with bad weather. But Luke Thomas, as I've told you, is practically unrivaled in this space. Only Ariel Helwani do I put anywhere near him in terms of being able to do the journalistic stuff in this sport that Dana White doesn't want in this sport, and he does the politics better than anybody I've heard as it relates to this sport. I will remind you guys that Morning Combat is on the DraftKings network, and he's also the host of Luke Thomas Gets Political. Now, were you invited? Would you have gotten credentials to this event, given what it is that you say publicly, or would you have been denied if you went after credentials for this event?
I mean, that's a great question. Also, I don't know, why do you look like the Lorax this morning? Are you a Knicks guy? I didn't know you were. I thought you were a Heat guy.
I'm told I look like Red Foo from LMFAO. Red
Oh my
Food
God.
is what I'm going for. Yes, this is it's just costume design here to add to the entertainment. But yes, I've been with the Knicks for like a whole, I don't know, I'm going to say 6 weeks.
Yeah, me too. It's been great and fun to watch. Yeah, I don't think I could get credentialed. I could be wrong about this. I don't want to smear UFC unfairly. I think there's plenty of fair criticisms to make, but I don't even bother. And I want to be clear about why I don't even bother, because it's actually important to say, because someone might say, "Oh, you could still go." Right, but partly I didn't want to be even party to what was happening yesterday on that kind of a level. And more to the point, like I understand UFC in ways that I think a lot of casual fans do not, which is that everything with them is maximum leverage. Everything with them is maximum leverage. In other words, if you ever need something from them, my experience has been they'll hold it over your head. And so I just don't even want to approach a relationship where I'm like thinking about how am I going to get to shows, and then I get a call about my coverage, and now there is some kind of conflict there. I can just tell you, Dan, I had a conversation with someone very high up at UFC, and they explained to me that I was, quote, persona non grata. So I take that as I'm not really supposed to be there.
I urge all of you to listen to what Luke did with Pablo Torre recently on Pablo Torre Finds Out, because they dive deep into just how corrupt and dirty some of this money is. But what can you tell us for our audience, the business connection between Trump and Dana White? How would you explain it to people factually, not politically, factually, in 60 seconds or less?
I would say it extends well beyond Trump. At this point, it's almost conservative ink. You'll recall there were Turning Point ads on the Octagon. They were airing Turning Point ads at the Fan Fest. Obviously, Meta to me is almost regime aligned at this point, so it's not just them. But the basic answer is pretty simple. Dana White obviously helped Trump to return to power. They got this event. The meme coin, or I should not the meme coin, that's not right, World Liberty Financial, which is basically the center of Trump's corruption financially anyway for self-aggrandizement. They were helping to pay the bonuses and were something of a sponsor of this event. On top of it, Truth Social was a sponsor of this event, which I don't really even understand, since Truth Social doesn't really even have any money. That I genuinely don't even get that. Also, on top of it, I was told by sources on Capitol Hill that the legislation that they want to push through, that's TKO backed, so that they can take over boxing, that the White House had said that this was a priority for them, which is why it's the first labor bill that got taken up by Congress in 2026. As I mentioned before, on top of that, Trump has bought TKO stock, and then people will tell you, yeah, but who cares? He doesn't run it. First of all, I'm not sure I even really believe that. And second of all, it's just flatly immaterial, because he's still, in fact, going to benefit. And this is merely the tip of the iceberg. Recall, UFC had aired ICE ads until Renee Good was killed. There's just numerous ways in which there is just dovetailing between the Trump administration and UFC's business, financial to the degree that you're asking, Dan, but it goes well beyond that too.
What is real and not real about that exchange with Daniel Cormier and allegedly Eric Trump, where he's showing DMs, and a lot of people were talking about something that I don't know that's been verified in any way? What's real here when you've got Eric Trump evidently asking for whether fights are rigged or injury information?
Is this not the most insane thing you've ever... Dude, I've been covering combat sports for 20 years, and every single time I'm like, oh, I've seen it all. And then, you get the lead commentator, one of the lead commentators for UFC, who was a two-time Olympian, former captain of the Olympic wrestling team, two-weight world champion in UFC. Then he posts this conversation, or whatever this is. I mean, again, to the extent like this is even real, on his Twitter account. And to be clear, folks are asking, is it real? He tweeted it. Now, does that mean that there's another reason that he tweeted it? That's where the debate comes in. But was it executed, so to speak, on Twitter? Yes, it was. And now there's like, well, for example, Eric Trump is like, well, it's AI generated. Why would Daniel Cormier tweet an AI generated conversation between himself and Eric Trump? That makes no sense. And you could say, well, he got hacked. Okay, that does seem at least plausible on its face, but then how did he recover it so quickly? There's just a series of unanswered questions. But like, the longer I stay in combat sports, the more it just appears to me that absurdity and chaos and weirdness are the defining features of this culture, almost more than the violence is.
This from Jamel Hill. UFC fighter Josh Hokett concluded his post-fight match with Joe Rogan by calling former First Lady Michelle Obama a man. It was disgusting, and keep in mind this UFC Freedom 250 event is using some of your taxpayer money to put on a tacky display of performative patriotism. This is supposed to be a celebration for America that theoretically is a proud display of shared values and love for the country. Also, Rogan didn't say a word. The broadcasters on the call said nothing. This is despicable. What did you think?
I mean, the news is worse than that. Understand something about Josh Hokett. So first of all, this guy was a collegiate wrestler, and he briefly, I think, flirted with the practice squad for the 49ers. But he's a good athlete, and they need good athletes at heavyweight. So what they did was they pumped this guy through something called the Contender Series. This is a tryout show that the UFC has. I guess it's going to air on Paramount Plus. It was airing on ESPN Plus previously. So think of it as a job interview, right? It's an audition to get on. Hokett wins there, and then during the post-fight Q&A period that you saw in a similar way, it wasn't with Rogan, but the same kind of concept, he did it there. So like literally at a job interview years ago when he wanted to get into the UFC, he rolled that out at the same time. And not only did they sign him, but they've been fast tracking him to the title. I need everyone to understand, like, it's so funny, Dan. It's so funny. Can you believe that there are people who have tried to debate me on the idea that MMA is not a right-wing sport? I'm like, you have got to have been hit in the head with a tire iron to the point where your frontal lobe no longer functions really in any sort of observable capacity. It is quite obviously right-wing to the bone. It can be nothing else at this point by virtue of look at the speech codes that are tolerated. And I want to say something. Folks might say, well, should the UFC hammer Josh Hokett? We can have that debate about what that answer is, but here's what I do know for the free speech organization, Dan. If a fighter is destitute, but they win a fight, and then they, in the post-fight interview where someone puts a microphone in their face and they ask him, hey, can I have a post-fight bonus? I really need some money. There's an informal rule at the UFC where they, or I should say an informal practice, where they won't give him that money if they do that because they see it as embarrassing. But I thought this was the free speech organization. They just have a speech policy that ends up being, they don't design it this way, but it's de facto pro-slur because it's the only kind of extra speech you can do beyond the normal Overton window that they'll ever allow.
And that's how they get away, though, with saying we're freer than others, though. No, like our speech is freer than others. We allow the slurs. Dana White doesn't govern those.
Can we say something about the mainstream media, Dan, on this? I feel like it's really important. And not shows like this, not some other ones. I've done some really good ones too, but it is mind-blowing to me that Dana White can, after he's a fight promoter for crying out loud, and I know I've made this point elsewhere, but it is insane to me how credulous mainstream media is when Dana talks. They don't ask questions, they don't push back, they don't wonder what the narrative is, so he can get out there and say, this is a free speech organization.
They treat him like a commissioner instead of a fight promoter.
It's like it's the most absurd level of abdication of their responsibility. Like you would never, and anybody who knows anything about the fight game would never do something like that unless they just like that guy and don't care about using their brain. It is the mainstream media will just listen to things that Dana says, parrot it back to their audiences, and then it becomes lore. And that's exactly, by the way, Dan, how we got a situation where I lived through MMA from 2001 to 2016. When I tell you Trump figures nowhere in that conversation, nobody cared about him. He wasn't relevant. He was briefly in the scene in 2009. But the point being is Dana White can get out there and say things like, oh, if it wasn't for him, UFC wouldn't be where it is. This is just a lie. It's just a lie. There's nothing else to it. It's absolutely matter-of-factly not true. But he can just say it, and they'll repeat it, and so it just becomes truth in the end.
Tyson Fury wasn't supposed to be allowed into this country because of his affiliations with a drug kingpin, but was a part of that celebration yesterday. What happened there? How does that happen?
Boy, that is $1 million question. As soon as I saw him, the first thing that went through my mind was, oh, oh, I didn't know he could be back in the country, because it wasn't just him. Jake Paul wanted to fight the brother slash, what are we going to call him, half brother, Tommy Fury here in the United States, and he couldn't get in either. I don't know if his situation has changed, but he's had to take fights overseas as a consequence of not being able to fight here. So when I saw him, I was like, huh. Fury has long ties to Daniel Kinahan and his MTK group and the training facilities and everything there. This drug kingpin who was recently apprehended, although he was hiding out in Abu Dhabi. And the person who kind of tweeted about it all to congratulate Fury was Turki Al-Sheikh, who's kind of like the face and the forward guy who does sports from Saudi Arabia in, Western or other countries. He's kind of that dude. And he was like, congratulations, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you noticed Riyadh Season was also sponsoring this event at the White House last night, which is also its own little weirdness. Now, I'm making speculation here. I'm not reporting anything, but it just seems to me that if a guy has a Treasury sanction where he can't come over for his ties to a drug pen, and then the business associates, and by the way, Dana White might have a direct financial investment through Zuffa Boxing. They didn't announce that, but it seems like that's what that's hinted at. They can just get things changed for themselves by virtue of their proximity to the regime. It just sort of shows there's this spoils system, this patrimonialism that surrounds Trump world, of which now the UFC has just dove headfirst into.
There's no disputing that last night was a victory for UFC, correct?
I think that's right. Yes, I do. I think understanding something, so just put your blinders on for a minute. This is not me asking people to agree. It is asking them to understand, or at least try to understand from an MMA fight fan's perspective. And this does not mean that they're pro-Trump either. They could be like, well, we don't like Trump, but like, you gotta understand something. Fight fans want this kind of thing anyway. I don't mean large structures on the White House lawn, but they want pomp and circumstance. They want pageantry. They want big lights. They want atmosphere. And so on a basic level, that definitely was delivered to them. And there's also another factor to consider here, Dan, which is, it's kind of funny. Everyone thinks the UFC is riding high, and I do think this event will do a very, very good number. But if we're looking at the last few years, I have thought that MMA... the evidence is not conclusive, but I have thought that there's been reason to think that MMA is contracting. And so they have not had big events. They've not had big pageantry. I think they've been starving for something like this. So they were willing to just take it almost anywhere they could get it. And again, there are obviously some pro-Trump elements, some big pro-Trump elements in there, but it's not just that kind of a thing. And I also saw, Dan, a lot of people in conservative media saying, Donald Trump delivered this for us. Like this is some kind of policy objective and campaign promise that he made good on, rather than just having a party that basically the UFC itself was tasked with having the event management therein. And I know there was some polling to this effect, Dan, where you had, for example, 16% of most Americans saying they thought it was a bad idea to have it, 31% of Republicans, which either number is very, very bad. I suspect that Republican number will go up after this. I suspect that they're going to say, you know what? We really, really loved this kind of display of 1/3 CPAC, 1/3 July 4th, and then 1/3 UFC. All of these different entities working to lift the other.
Luke, so with all that out of the way, Ilya Topuria going in 17-0. He had the white rose for Justin Gaethje, and then all of a sudden, the highlight came through with one of, I think, the greatest upset in UFC history. Where did you see it from?
Bro, can I ask a question? Can I pitch back a little bit here?
A fight one, yes.
No, the MAGA stuff in MMA. Are you down with it or what?
Am I? No. I love the sport, right? Like, I'm not MAGA. I don't care for that. Like, I watch the sport and love the sport. So, like, we covered it on the MMA Hangout. We loved all the fights. They were incredible. I'd like to run through some of them with you if we can.
Yeah. I'm not trying to be difficult.
No, you're good. You're good.
Biggest upset ever, though? He just hit you with biggest upset ever.
Well, biggest upset ever is a little strong, but it's big. It's real, real big. I mean, Justin Gaethje is a guy who's been the bridesmaid and never the bride, despite having like a really fan-friendly style and getting better over time too, but faced setback when he got to the hill. Very Sisyphean kind of approach to a career. But sometimes there's these guys who were, they chop the wood, they swing the axe, and they can't get there, but they keep swinging, and then somehow, not in their prime, but at the end of their run, like Michael Bisping against Luke Rockhold at UFC 190, 199 is a great example of this. They just kind of finally break through. Now, I do think that Ilia Topuria really fought quite poorly, and I don't think you can look the other way, but it doesn't matter. Justin Gaethje threatened to retire from UFC, and normally when you do that, they're like, yeah, there's the door. But nevertheless, they gave him an interim title fight to get this one. Everybody counted him out. He's nearly 38 years of age. He's got a million miles on him and then some, and yet I think had one of the best performances of his career. A true sporting triumph, whatever else you want to say about the event.
His jab was locked in. I mean, he absolutely cut up Topuria from the jump, and we were like, oh my God, like, wait, something's happening here. Justin has his jab working. He was getting overhand rights. He was trying to do that one leg takedown with an uppercut, matching the knee that he thought that he hit Topuria with. I thought broke his ribs. That's when they kind of called it in the 5th round. It was an incredible fight. I think it's probably one of the biggest upsets. Luke, obviously you have an incredible history. Speaking of history, Alex Pereira was going for it in the co-main event, trying to be a 3-division champion. Cyril Gane looks like a man possessed.
Dude, well, let me tell you something. I'm going to give you a name. In fact, he fought on this MVP card. I know you know him, Tony, but for the other listeners out there, there's this dude out there who I've been real high on. His name is Saladin Parnasse. He's French. And the UFC wanted to sign him. Yes, UFC wanted to sign him, and he was like, yeah, but you got to pay me a bunch of money. And they were like, no. And I'm like, what a mistake. Pay this guy. So he fought in an organization called KSW, which is a very good, it's based in Poland, but it's like a good, if you win there, you're going to go places. Let's just put it that way. He has been their 145 champ and their 55-pound champ, and he was dominating everyone in both those weight classes. So then he goes to 70, and I'm like, this dude is so good, he's going to kill at 70. And he got whooped. He got whooped bad. It really reminds me of that. Like, there's a reason no one has won 3 weight class titles in the UFC. You have to level up in such a way that is basically, I'm not going to say impossible, but it's only going to be possible for the best kind of guy. But I want to say something. Everyone was like, oh, Poaton's going to be at his natural weight. And I'm like, I don't think that that's necessarily the greatest call. Think about how many athletes we watch in other sports who have to either bulk up or get down to something for optimum sports performance. Yeah, you might be more comfortable at your natural weight, but is that peak sports performance? Clearly not. And also, and you know this, Tony, Gane is like naturally athletic at 260 pounds. He is quick. He's agile. He can move. He has good footwork. I always thought for something of a plotter that Poatan is, that this was a bad match. I've actually picked Gane to win pre-fight. I didn't think he was going to stop him, but I thought he was going to win. Gane versus Aspinall, too, all of a sudden, one of the biggest fights you can make at heavyweight.
Yep.
How do you separate, Luke, we've got less than a minute left. How do you separate the way that you feel about everything that's happening in a sport that you clearly love and that the fights are great? You have politics all around it, embedded in everything you're doing, but you still love the fights. Does it? How do you separate both the messenger and the message?
I'm not sure that I can anymore. I've lost a lot of sleep over this. I don't know how to answer that anymore. I mean, it used to be that it wasn't enough such that it made me feel ethically compromised, but now it's enough where, I mean, this is the de facto sports arm of the Trump administration at this point, right? I mean, that's just what it is. And I think a lot of fight fans are going to look the other way and say they don't care. But I feel like the damage that Trump is doing to the country is so severe and our future so compromised that I have no choice but to pick a side. And it puts me in a place where I honestly don't know where I fit in MMA anymore. I don't know that I do. And I don't know what my future holds, if I can just be perfectly honest with you.
I mean, you were in the military real quick here before you get out. You're talking about sort of crisis of conscience stuff that literally keeps you up as you decide whether it's worth the career you've built. It's really hard to do what you've done to amass the following and the credibility in that sport, and you have an uneasy relationship with that.
Yeah, I mean, I got into combat sports because I was working as basically a speechwriter in DC, and I hated it because the only people who needed my help were like the oil and gas industry, and I was looking for an escape. I just didn't want to do it anymore, and so I got into MMA thinking this is just so free from those concerns. Who cares? And then it brought me all the way back to this place. And you know, one little anecdote, if I may, before we get out of here, is when I had that job and it was so bad for my mental health, my fingernails all fell out from stress. My body just reacted in weird ways. I went to the doctor and he was like, you're just under too much stress. I basically feel the same way now. I wake up every day wondering, should I even be doing this? And I genuinely just don't know how to answer that anymore.
All of us are just sort of depressed by that.
Like Grundlefly.
I mean, just fingernails falling off from the stress and the conflict. It is, there's a cost on being a moral man in the modern age. He's Luke Thomas, journalist, analyst, and host of Morning Combat on the DraftKings Network. Thank you, Luke. Appreciate the time, sir.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
And you know it. You're going to have to wait for that one.
Exactly.
That was staggering. Even by the standards of the Greg Cody Show featuring Greg Cody, where your son Michael asks you movie questions and you flail and fail and get them all wrong. Even by those standards, that was an amazing amount of ignorance.
Nick, before we let you talk about the Steelers, you're in luck because we have the Love Doctor. The Love Doctor is here. He is ready. He is in his office right now. Dr. Greg Cody getting everybody ready for Mother's Day this weekend. And we have questions. The Love Doctor is going to have the answers. Who's up first?
I know a lot of people are going to come to you and they're going to want to know, how do you keep it interesting? Me, I'm not interested in interesting. So how do you keep it predictable? How do you keep it ho-hum? How do you just let it just be?
Was that Jason Tatum asking that question?
Young lady, you are my kind of gal. That's my lane. That's my lane of romance. I invented predictable. Nobody has perfected the art of dull routine like yours truly. As a matter of fact, little inside information here, my wife and I schedule our naughty time months in advance, like doctor's appointments. Quite often, she'll have to cancel because she said something came up. Unfortunately, sometimes I'll have to cancel because something didn't come up. That kind of thing.
It's good luck for us.
Do we have another question for the Love Doctor here after such great advice?
With Chris listening.
Oh, we're doing it, baby.
What are you guys doing, man?
Oh, you want question number 2?
Yeah, let's go question number 2.
Oh, yeah, Greg. Hey, man, I need your help, man. So I'm out of town for Mother's Day, trying to figure out what can I get my girl for Mother's Day in another city.
Oh, wow. Buddy, I'm worried about this. Not one, but 2 of the Love Doctor's marriages began rending like cheap fabric when Greg was either out of town at a sporting event or away at a doctoral conference. And the exes were doing the clandestine bumpy bump behind my back. Jack, I suggest you get your girl, which you'd never expect, a private eye to keep an eye on her randy ass.
You know about that randy ass, Nick?
I don't like this at all.
Thank you, Love Doctor. Don't go anywhere. We may go back to you. Appreciate you.
I don't like this at all.
Somehow, the least embarrassing Cody.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Zaslow, there were some things that happened in baseball over the weekend that have a hard time sort of getting into the conversation around hockey and basketball and the World Cup and UFC.
Come on, Mookie Betts.
What happened?
He missed a routine ground ball, ruining a perfect game in the 8th inning. I've seen some perfect games get ruined, but rarely by just a routine ground ball to shortstop.
Something I haven't seen before is what Yordan Alvarez did, and every time that guy swings the bat, I expect him to get a hit. Did you see in the first inning of a game he had a grand slam and a 2-run homer?
Say that again?
What? That's a good inning.
The same inning, he had a grand slam and a 2-run homer.
It's no Fernando Tatis, but that's pretty damn good.
That's a good call from Roy
Nice
there.
pull.
So that's right. Tatis had 2 grand slams in an inning, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, senior. That is senior. Thank you. Junior hasn't hit a home run in about a month. He doesn't hit home runs anymore.
Luis Arias has more home runs. It's crazy.
You guys don't go with the do factor, though? For the last, month, I finally hit it. He finally hit one. I was hit it with the Fernando Tatis Jr. He was due to hit a home run. Yeah. When a guy like that goes a month and a half without one, you start betting him to do it because of the do factor.
That's a tribute to you right there, Zaz, the way that he said that. He said that with a flourish because that was homage to you there, the do factor.
Whatever. No one could do it like me.
No one can do it like you.
Except when Greg does it like you, but better.
Yo, I don't want.
Hey,
talk
that's
about that.
what I'm talking about.
I want to talk about that.
People are singing. What? That's not what you're talking about? People are singing all over the country and internationally. They're singing, hey, that's what I'm talking about.
Bullshit.
He stole it and made it better.
That's my catchphrase.
I know it
It's
is.
like my go-to catchphrase. It's like my number one. And he disrespects it not only by putting a hey in front of it and claiming it's his, by singing it, but he also had it number 16 or
It's
17.
Now it's number 26 because it moved back 10.
What?
So we have some quote-unquote news here coming from Brian Windhorst. He says that talks have intensified over the last 7 to 10 days, and Giannis has focused on wanting to be a member of the Miami Heat. Now, what I know has been happening here most recently, where you see the Boston media coming out and wondering if Boston is going to get involved. And you've heard Simmons say Boston wasn't interested and now they're not interested. The Bucks have had the Heat's offer for a really long time. It's been out there for anybody to beat for a really long time. And my guess is that what's happened over the last 10 days is Milwaukee wants to get more than what it is the Heat offered months ago, and so they bring up the pressure because they're losing the leverage of everyone knows once their owner says, we'd like to get this resolved before the draft, that everything is coming to a head now. Why would Milwaukee not try to get that offer higher when already it was in place at the trade deadline? And it had to be nuked by Milwaukee ownership because they're like, no, we can get more than that. And the Heat don't want to move off of that position. But I'm guessing the last 10 days of pressure have made it so that Windy feels now comfortable reporting that Giannis has focused on wanting to be a member of the Miami Heat, which only puts yet more pressure on Boston or anyone else who wants him. And this is all part of the game that Milwaukee wants out there. Milwaukee knows what they can get from the Miami Heat. They want to see if that offer can get any better or if anyone can up that offer. That is not something I'm saying that's any kind of groundbreaking. It's the obvious way to do business when you have someone like this.
Okay, so 2 things. Number one, the Heat's offer has changed since February at the trade deadline. They can now offer the number 13 overall pick in the draft. Not a small thing. So the Heat's offer has changed a little bit. And number 2, when you say that the Heat aren't coming off of their offer, you say that as if the Heat are holding something back. Don't we assume that the only thing the Heat are holding back is Bam Adebayo, right? It's not like Damian Lillard or Kevin Durant where it's like, this is our offer. No, we're not giving you that. We're not giving you that. They're willing to give up everything except for Bam.
But it hasn't
right?
been. It has not been reported that way. That's not when you see the Bobby Marks salary comparisons. The offer is picks, and then they're throwing Jovic in there, and you don't have to take any garbage from Milwaukee. I still think they're going to have to take something from Milwaukee that they don't actually want, and I think that's where the maneuvering is in play, where Milwaukee doesn't just want to give up Giannis. They want to give up Giannis and get rid of some bad contracts. And so, yeah, you could throw Jaquez into that deal. You make it. Look, if you make it Ware, Hero, and Jaquez, that's a better offer. That's a better offer than Ware, Hero, and Jovic. And so all that's happening now is the same posturing. This has been going on for a really, really long time. The fact that Giannis now has, according to Wendy, a preferred destination. That has not been reported before. We have not seen reported this explicitly that talks have heated up in the last 7 or 10 days, which means the Heat offer has to change there, Zaz. If talks have heated up in the last 7 or 10 days, it means that the Heat are willing to have a conversation that's larger than the one they were having. And this is the first time anyone's heard, no, Giannis wants Miami, because we've heard all along Giannis also wants Boston. Boston's not interested. And then that changed over the last 5 days because the Boston media people, Kevin O'Connor and Bill Simmons, started talking about how that's changed after Bill Simmons said flatly that they were no longer interested. And then Bill Simmons felt the need to say, I'm not recanting what I've originally said. Things have changed. What's changed is Milwaukee wants a better offer than the one that's been on the table from the Heat since before the trading deadline.
I mean, weren't we at a place not too long ago where the market for Giannis was thin?
That was the reports from every big news guy was like, yeah, everybody's kind of like off.
Now, nothing has changed.
No, but this is how you change it. This is how you change the perception of it, by getting in the news stream as things intensify. Right. But this is the patience that's required of the Heat, and I can't imagine what watching this Knicks run has done to Pat Riley. Can't even imagine what watching all of this. The Knicks are not homegrown. They're the first finals team ever to have 5 starters drafted somewhere else. That's not a homegrown team. That's a bunch of parts that anybody could have had.
That's Riley's style. That's the way he would do it.
But those are parts. What the Knicks just built are players anybody could have had. All of them. Mm-hmm. All of those players. You could have had Jalen Brunson for less than the max deal. You could have had Karl Anthony Towns if you wanted to take on that contract. You could have had Bridges if you were crazy enough to offer up 5 draft picks for Bridges. Nobody was offering that. You could have had Anunoby. There was not a lot of people running around trying to get Anunoby or thinking that was some sort of seismic trade that was made by the New York Knicks. In fact, I would say every trade the Knicks made, people said, why are they doing that? They're not a piece away.
You're right. Thinking back at it now, except for Josh Hart, which what they give up for Josh Hart, But the Brunson signing, trading away Randall for Towns, who wasn't supposed to be a winning player, the picks for Bridges. Yeah, it feels like every move they made was questioned by everyone.
If you want to create sort of fairy tale mythologies around what a sports fan wants to feel for a team, it would look and sound like the parade of gas bags, because there was no move the Knicks made that was applauded. None. They were all questioned. They all came with questions. There was not universal. Like when the Miami Heat, if they do acquire Giannis, there will be people who have their complaints, but it'll be muted. People will understand, and there won't be a lot of doubt. Like whatever doubt. The only doubt that comes with Giannis is he going to get hurt?
The team missed the playoffs. How's there going to be doubt with trading for Giannis? They missed the playoffs.
Zaz, you're old enough to remember how this market got pissed off because Brian Grant, Lamar Odom were traded from a 42-40 team for Shaquille O'Neal. You saw how this market fell in love with a 42-40 Heat team that traded Lamar Odom, Brian Grant, and you can't throw Caron Butler in that deal for Shaquille O'Neal.
And no one loves this current Miami Heat team. You're right. That was a 42-win Heat team.
This Heat team was better than that Heat team.
That was a 42-win Heat team that we fell in love with, all right, because we saw that, hey, it looks like we might have hit the jackpot with Dwayne Wade, and we love the other players too. And you're right. Please don't throw Caron Butler into the deal. But we fell in love with that team. No one loves this current iteration of the Heat.
That team had promise. This team didn't. This team had plan for 4 straight seasons. Everybody got sick of this and sick of looking up north and being like, wait a second, they beat us at our own game.
Which is why another team was willing to take that group of players for Shaq, whereas this group, they're like, for Giannis, nope, don't want that.
I am surprised that Giannis isn't able to lure a better offer than the one the Heat have when you think of Mikal Bridges going for 5 picks. No matter what you think Khalil Ware is going to be, I don't think any of us have his growth pattern being Wade's. Whatever it is, like I also think Khalil Ware is going to get a great deal better. I don't know. Honestly, This one's interesting here. This is a potentially ridiculous thing I'm about to say here because Jaylen Brown is as good as he is. But if you're the Bucks and what you can get as the jewel is something like Khalil Ware, somebody who's that young and isn't formed as a player, whatever Jaylen Brown is, plenty good, better than Khalil Ware, no doubt, no question. You will get no argument from me on that. But will Jaylen Brown's best be better than what Khalil Ware's best is 6 years from now as they go to 7-footers on the perimeter who also play defense? Khalil Ware is a pick that I would want on my team because of his age, because that's not formed as a player. Whatever it is that Jaylen Brown is formed. It's not getting much better than what it already is. And so most people listening to this are going to say, what are you talking about? Jaylen Brown and Khalil Ware in the same conversation. But Milwaukee clearly is valuing the age there because now you're against the Spurs and the Thunder, man. It's a different game. Like, I understand, actually, if you want to question Pat Riley at the end of his window, I'm talking mortality there. I'm not even talking career. Saying, look, I'm going all in on a 31-year-old who's got questions, even though he's 10 years older than the cores out west that are better than my team. I understand people saying it's still not good enough. In fact, I've been surprised, Zaz. I've been legitimately surprised at how much Giannis has been devalued by the last season, where people are shrugging and saying, well, Bam and Giannis still isn't enough. Man, that's been enough for most of my life to watch. Those two players are going to get to the top of that sport if I put them together. Like, if those two players are healthy, my entire life as a basketball fan, if I put Giannis and Bam on the same team, no matter what I put around them, that's going to climb to the top of that sport.
Is Giannis being devalued, or is it that the days of these massive hauls coming in return in trade for these players, that those days are gone? We see, especially with the New York Knicks now, who just won it with a player who took $100 million less than the maximum and did all the winning now. And there's so many players in the NBA right now who are making the max money and are just not winning players.
It's both of those things, and you just saw OKC and San Antonio are going to be a problem for a decade. Like, whether you think they're going to win.
You can't just throw your hands up and give up.
I'm not saying you give up. Obviously, they're not going to give up. But when all of this comes into play, all of the things that we're talking about, the number of times I've heard in the devaluing of an all-time great champion in Giannis, some form of, look at what Milwaukee was this year. Makes people forget how he beat Durant in the playoffs and won a championship, and I thought his leg was broken and his career was over, and then he beats the Suns. It's like it never happened because of what happened last year to Milwaukee, where Giannis wasn't in the conversation except as a transaction. It was never for the play. It was always for the mess and the transaction. Like, real damage has been done to the perception of Giannis as a basketball player, as if people forgot that he won a championship with Chris Middleton as his second best player.
Not only that, when he did play this season, he was great.
Could the holdup be that the Heat don't want to take Thanasis?
They don't want to up the offer. And that would be upping the offer. Taking his entire family is upping the offer.
Take Thanasis.
Look, I have to assume that the Bucks are trying to say some form of, and you got to take Miles Turner. Like, you got to take both our fat contracts.
The form of that is likely Bobby Portis, which I actually would like to have. No, but he is one of the contracts that if you don't have Giannis, you would want to move.
I think Dan's right, though. And no team is going to want to take Giannis and Miles Turner because I don't think they're going to play together anymore.
I mean, they were not really a major issue, but that's not what the problem is going to be. What it is for the Heat is they look at an offer themselves that is 3 first-round picks, including one this year, that gives the Bucks multiple first-round picks this season. They look at Khalil Ware, which whether you want to take him and make him a building block or move him for another pick, because that was the chatter last week, which is that around the league, he is viewed as someone who could get you a first-round pick. And you then have Hero and Hawkes, one who's won a Sixth Man of the Year.
Why would you want to move Ware for a first-round pick? He's a first-round pick.
I agree, but if that's not the guy they want to continue to build around, then they get back to the value where they can choose their guy, and now that's 4 first-round picks, and you'd have Hero on an expiring contract. You can extend him if you want. You have Jaquez where he is. That is a major deal for a player. When you look at the Jaylen Brown part of this is not so that the Bucks would be building around Jaylen Brown. This is not the one-to-one comparison. This is, okay, so we can get a third team involved, whether it's the Clippers and getting that number 5 pick or Atlanta and getting one of their picks, because Jaylen Brown is not the guy they would be planning to build around. They want to hit bottom and get as big of a pick haul as they can. Right now, they're getting 3 plus a lottery pick from just a couple of years ago.
Let me ask you guys about this, because this part has been really interesting to me as I've watched the last 3 years of basketball and see what looked like a Boston team that had rigged the system sort of fall apart this year, but Jaylen Brown got a taste of what Pat Riley called in his book, The Disease of Me. When Jaylen Brown sees what Jalen Brunson just did, he says, I could do that if I didn't have to share the ball with Tatum. I could do that if you make me the lead player. Did you see how good my Celtics were this year during the regular season when I didn't have to have Tatum around? I could do what Jalen Brunson just did if you give me the chance. And so I want to examine some of this with you guys, because I really don't believe that any of us would know that Jalen Brunson is this good if Jalen Brunson had just stayed next to Luka. If for whatever reason Jalen Brunson said, you know what, I love playing with Luka, I don't have to show anybody anything else, this is enough for me, he would have never gotten the usage rate that he needed to be the fourth quarter clutch guy, to be the guy who's the killer at the end of games. Why wouldn't Jaylen Brown believe that if you send me somewhere and I don't have to deal with the shackles of Tatum, where I tell you this year was the most fun I've had, even though it was the first, I'm out in the first round and we're embarrassed.
Favorite year.
When he says that, though, like, isn't that the most human thing, that no matter, I've said this to my adult friends, especially as it comes to men, that everything's high school, no matter what age you are, we are just boys. Many of us are just high school boys. We don't actually grow up. You think that Jaylen Brown thinks team and championship and I want to keep playing with Tatum, or you think Jaylen Brown says, give me my own team. I want my own team. It's the most human thing. And it doesn't matter how much money you make, and it doesn't matter how much everyone loves you in a city. It's just the ego run amok. And understandably, the ego helped get these guys to where they are, so they don't put it down. They don't put it away. And they don't put it within your construct of, well, you won a championship as a team. Why wouldn't you want to stay there? Durant left Golden State. Winning wasn't as fun as it seemed like it could have been forever.
What do your adult friends say in response? Got math friends. How many friends? Got math friends, adult friends,
Weather friends.
weather friends.
You are chief among the late 30-year-olds who aren't actually an adult.
I was going to say, I'm one of your adult. I'm one of your adult friends.
No, you are not. I'm making what I am saying. What the distinction I'm making between my adult friends and boys are people who live in the real world.
Your boyfriends.
And you guys. You guys are my boyfriends.
Hey, I'm happy to be a friend.
You guys are my boyfriends. You are not my adult friends. What I do here every day is not done with adults.
Look to your left.
Not an adult.
At least Chris has a forward hat on. I mean, Zaz with a backwards hat.
But I am back here miming a baseball swing, and I don't feel like adults do that.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
That's more of an adult thing than a kid thing, I think.
Really?
Yep.
What batting stance is this?
Sheffield.
Nope.
That's not Sheffield?
That's not Sheffield?
How is
Julio
that?
Franco?
What do you mean that's not Sheffield?
That is Sheffield.
Cheater?
Kevin Millar.
Millar. No, it is Millar. I can't see your legs. It's a big part of it.
Yeah, the legs.
You guys are suckers. You fell for the Sheffield. Like, it's like the oldest trick in the book. You start doing this, everyone says Sheffield right away. It's clearly Kevin
Show
Millar.
me a new one, though.
Nope.
I can't guess on another
Do
one?
one later. That's all you get for now.
Okay.
the ideas as, and I know we love these constructs, right? Because many people do look at professional sports, and because their experience is high school experience, they think it's the rah-rah of high school. Put the team first. If you win a championship, it shouldn't be about the me. It should be about the we. But what I'm saying is fairly obvious about Jaylen Brown, correct? That Jaylen Brown is looking around and wondering, what would it be like and what would it feel like if I were to go and be the leader of my own team? In fact, my guess is Jaylen Brown would be fine in Boston as long as they traded Tatum.
That gets to the means to the end, right? He has his own team, just Jason Tatum's not a part of it.
Well, he had it this year. It's why it was his favorite year. Like
he
had
wouldn't have to move.
He's sitting there. I put it on the poll at Le Batard Show.
Moving sucks.
Was Jaylen Brown putting things in the training room for Tatum to trip over? At Le Batard Show, because he wasn't.
He was booby trapping everything.
Because he wasn't in any hurry for Tatum to get back and take the team from him.
I get how it gets there, though, right? He's the one that won the Finals MVP the year that they win the championship. He's the one that was the best player on that team when it happened. He's the one that took a roster that nobody expected to be good, to be this great in the regular season, as opposed to teams that constantly sort of underachieved compared to what they anticipated and where the roster was until that championship, where he was the Finals MVP. And by the way, 2 of the last 3 Finals MVPs are named Jaylen.
Dan, you saw Jaylen Brown's most recent tweet, yes?
I did not.
He tweeted out, "The neighbor's rice always smells better."
I did see that, yeah.
What do you think the booby trap looks like? Right? Is it a fishing wire that's all the way in the bottom when you open the door and you don't see it and you trip over? Is it like El Cubo that's on the top of the door frame that falls over with the water and he's like, oh, where did that come from?
Legos.
Ooh, Legos. Do you think it's dark and he's like trying to find the light switch?
Oh,
and
my
he's like,
kid!
Where
My
is it?
kid left them there. I'm so sorry. That wasn't my fault. I think the thing that he's underestimating, though, is the burden of expectations. This season for the Celtics didn't have any expectations. When he was Finals MVP, he's not the one expected to be the Finals MVP. Tatum is. And if he goes to his own team, all of a sudden 50 wins isn't going to be good enough. Like 50 wins in a season, you got to be the guy. And I don't think anyone listening to this thinks that Jalen Brunson should be the best player on a championship team. You think you need somebody better than that, correct?
I mean, we just saw it.
Everybody wants to play the sport the way Jalen Brunson's allowed to play it. Like everybody playing in that league wants to be playing, yeah, I'm the lead guy. Everyone knows, hey, keep setting the picks and keep giving the ball back to me. I'm the one who's going to get the 30 points. I'm the one who's going to get the 25 shots no matter what. Every guy in that league wants his team. It's why Brunson, look, there are a lot of reasons Brunson took less money to be there, and he's going to make it all back right now in whatever it is he's going to get in advertising. But everybody wants the situation, and many of them would take a discount to have a team be theirs the way that Brunson's is in New York. And the expectations, this is a big one, Zaz. He has exceeded every expectation, at least in part, because there were no expectations. There really weren't. Like what he's been doing the last few years in the playoffs before this year was fine for them. Like they were perfectly happy with him. I'm not saying that they wouldn't have been disappointed if the thing hadn't kept growing. I'm saying no one blamed Brunson for them not advancing to the championship. He has exceeded every single expectation that anyone had for him as a basketball player.
I mean, we heard during the parade of gas bags, though, everyone saying, this is not a good signing. This is not a guy who's going to get you out of the first round. He's not a top 10 point guard in the league. Nick Wright, that's on you. And then he winds up having this type of, this is only his 4th season. Like, he was good right away for them. He got them into the second round his very first year. The Heat took that ass, of course. If Brunson was not great with the Knicks, I do think there would have been a lot of attention from the media. I mean, you heard right there people criticizing the signing.
I'm saying that his great before this was great enough. He had already delivered more playoff victories and moments that they'd had for a generation or 2 generations of fans. He did more before this season in the playoffs than Carmelo Anthony did in the playoffs for them.
Yeah.
And Carmelo Anthony is as beloved a son as they have
He
in
equaled
25
Carmelo
years.
his first year in
But that's what I'm saying. If the starting point on Brunson is you immediately exceed Carmelo, you've made the sport fan in New York, who's really hard to please, okay with who you are. There's never been any criticism of Brunson. Why would there be? Like, it's just such a rare story. I'm going to go through it again because Amin ends up being right on you have to have playoff experience to win the title. But the place he ends up, and we all end up being wrong, is that Jalen Brunson is too small to win a title as the best player on a team. One of those things had to give in this series. Either a team with no experience was going to win the title, or a player who was too small, the smallest player on the court, was going to be enough to win a title when it's Isaiah Thomas, Steph Curry, and that's the list in the history of basketball. Two really uncommon players, and I don't think before this series anybody would have put Jalen Brunson in the Isaiah Thomas, Steph Curry class, but you kind of got to now, don't you?
Well, that's why I don't like the criticism that is being levied at Becky Hammon. I think it's unfair. First of all, she was in the media at the time when she was working as an analyst on ESPN. She's not like the Las Vegas Aces coach or the San Antonio Spurs assistant coach and decides to give her opinion on Jalen Brunson not being a guy. She's literally equal to guys like Kendrick Perkins and Stephen A. Smith and any of those guys that are on television. So she's allowed to give her opinion, and guess what? You're going to be wrong sometimes. So I don't understand this coming after her where, like, she has to apologize. But more so the point being, historically, her opinion is correct. Even with Jalen Brunson proving her wrong. Even with Brunson proving her wrong. Because now, guess what? The number of small guards who lead their team to a championship is 2! 2 in the history of the NBA. Like, her point, she was wrong about Brunson, but her point still stands.
Let's play that sound as a refresher when the media caught up to her and said, are you sure you want to still keep believing this, or has he proven you wrong?
And that's the other thing is I think Jalen Brunson's a hell of a player. A hell of a player. I'm speaking historically on the NBA with what I said. I don't know why that's being brought, like why everybody's so stuck on that. I said it 2 years ago. I stand by it.
I'm letting you clear the air.
There's no air to be cleared. I said what I said. He proves me wrong. He proves me wrong. I mean, good for him.
He proved her wrong.
Proved everybody wrong.
And she's still historically correct. Just because it happened for the second time in, what are we talking, 60 years? She's still historically correct.
Zaslow claims, and I don't know if this is accurate or not, I want to hear the sound from the New York, is this the New York radio call of this?
This is so good, Dan.
Zaslow is claiming that the New York radio announcers, okay, who will never get a chance like this again in their life.
And they nailed it, by the way.
This is a once-in-a-lifetime team. Whatever it is, the Knicks can win the next 3 championships. It's not going to feel like this. This is a once-in-a-lifetime team. You will go the entire remainder of your fandom and not feel something that feels like what it is New York gets to feel now. And you're saying, I've not heard this call.
Yeah.
You're saying they met the moment, but they did so while stealing something.
Okay.
So I don't know what you think they stole, but you're otherwise saying that if not for this egregious act of stealing something, it's a perfect call.
Okay, Tyler Murray and Monica McNutt are the radio voices of the New York Knicks on ESPN New York. And here is their final call when the Knicks win the championship, and I will preface it with saying they nailed the call.
This league has seen some impressive playoff runs over the years, but we've never seen anything like the 2026 New York Knicks. They will be forever remembered as the team that proved no lead is too big and no guard is too small.
What a line. No lead is too big. No guard is too small. Phenomenal line. I loved it. And then, it sounds familiar. I have kids. I have teenage boys who were once toddlers. And there was a show, I think it's still on television. It's called Paw Patrol.
They're making movies now.
It's a very popular kids show. It's about these dogs who are like cops, you know, like
they save the day.
Yeah, they fight crime.
Cop dogs?
Paw Patrol. No lead is too big. No guard is too small. Unbelievable line. Is it Paw Patrol?
No job's too big, no pup's too small.
It's a very famous line from Paw Patrol. No job's too big. No pup's too small.
Now,
No job's too big, no pup's too small.
all I will say in your defense here, because this is clearly ridiculous
You don't
by
have to
you.
defend
There's
me.
no connection here.
I don't need defense.
But I will give you this defense. This Tyler guy, the Knicks broadcaster, seems like a young guy.
Seems like he could have young kids.
Could have young kids.
That's right. I'm assuming
this
there.
could be a subconscious thievery.
No lead's too big. No guard's too small.
No lead is too big, and no guard is too small.
Incredible line. No job's too big. No pup's too small.
No job's too big, no pup's too small.
And if you think about it, right, no job too big, 29 points down, big job.
No job's too big. No pup's too small. Paw Patrol is on a roll.
Are you making the accusation, yes or no? Are you making the accusation to Tyler Murray? Are you saying out loud that that was a stolen line, that one, you don't get any chances? Broadcasters go their entire careers. I mean, imagine you've been broadcasting Kings games for 40 years. You've been broadcasting Hawks games. You've been broadcasting Clippers games. You don't get the chances to do Minnesota games. You don't get the chances to say the thing that people are going to remember. You can't steal it from Paw Patrol.
Can you imagine being the Kings broadcaster for 40 years? I'll never forget Mike Inglis, former radio voice of the Miami Heat, my all-time famous line from him, coming back from commercial break, the Heat are at the Kings. All right, here we are, live third quarter action from Sacramento's Arco Arena. Boy, I got to tell you, this place is a real dump.
Now, Tyler Murray had that one locked and loaded, right? Like, he goes to bed at night before. He's like, how am I going to call this? How do I say the memorable thing?
You have to think it out beforehand. You have a chance for a forever call. You know, the play-by-play guys like say, no, I want it to be organic. You have to think it out beforehand because you have to nail it. And he nailed it. He did. He nailed it. It's a great, great call.
I've got him in his, in his kitchen. His kids are in the living room. He's eating his breakfast. What am I going to call tonight? And then he hears this in the background.
No job's too big, no pup's too small.
Aha! I'm with Zaz now. I fully flipped on this. He stole it.
No lead's too big. No guard's too small.
No lead is too big, and no guard is too small.
I want to know if he has kids. I need to know if he has kids.
Do you guys think that when Al Michaels did Do You Believe in Miracles, there was someone on sports radio claiming that he'd stolen it from his kids' cartoons in the morning? Because you've just desecrated a really wonderful moment with an accusation that is, I think it's brazen, and if I were Tyler Murray, I'd be hurt and scared if indeed, either consciously or subconsciously, Paw Patrol had been the thing that I summoned to reach for the most moving moment in New York sports history.
No job's too big, no pup's too small.
I don't think he stole anything. I think he might have drawn inspiration. It's a great. He nailed the
Tiene
call.
pinta, Dan. Tiene pinta.
It's a great call.
Now I'm picturing the writer of Paw Patrol like watching the game or listening. No, my bad. This is radio. Listening, driving around New York. What?
Jeremy loves that I still listen to baseball on the radio.
It's my favorite thing. I'll get texts from Dan with just photos of his radio that have like the score on it, and I'm moved by it. The idea that Dan is just either driving around or choosing to just, I don't know, sit in his car and listen to baseball on the radio as a form of entertainment.
You got people doing stuff for you. What do you need to go places?
I have to drive places, and when I drive places,
Dropping off a 95-cent stamp or what?
I have satellite radio, and I thought about this the other day actually, because I'm fairly amazed that you can basically get any game anywhere on satellite radio because of the amount of play-by-play they have. But on one of the channels, there is a guy who is just simply reading where you can find all the games and sports on all of the channels.
I hate that guy's voice.
Well, he's going to be replaced by AI. Like, there is no circumstance under which that guy gets to keep a job where he is just simply telling you, you can find this on Sirius Satellite Channel X, and you can find this on Internet Feed, and it's MLS, and it's WNBA, and it's just all of the games. I wonder if that guy goes home at night and says, are they going to figure out whether I'm just reading the schedule and they can absolutely replace me with one of these voices that keeps getting better and better? You guys can recognize AI voices still, correct? You guys can, it's always because they mispronounce basic things that you know. That's why I can't tell anymore on AI voices until they mispronounce an obvious name incorrectly, and then I'm like, oh, okay, this is computerized.
You know where else I see that? In local broadcasts, Heat, Marlins, wherever, and then the person who's talking about the car dealership says, hi, Alea. Ooh, I know you're not from here.
No job too big, no pups too small.
Happy to be here with you for another AMA during one of our breaks here on the YouTube Live. It is just for you guys. So I'm going to go to questions that I've seen here in the chat, and we'll hang out for the next 10 minutes or so. Very excited about the first one that I saw, which was asking for my favorite song off Last of the Bugs. So I'm wearing a tour shirt right now. Noah Khan, the Great Divide North American Tour, went in Orlando over the weekend to go see Noah Khan perform. It was for my birthday, and my wife actually surprised me with floor tickets to the show. It was unbelievable. One of my absolute favorite shows I've ever been to. The energy was incredible. His performance was incredible. His voice is amazing. The band was remarkable. And being able to see something like that in a real moment, live music is so special. So right now, my favorite song, it's a very, very sad one. It's called Willing and Able. But after the experience that I had at the show, we didn't expect him to play it. Then he did. There was a very emotional moment for my wife and I to be able to experience together. So that's the one that's kind of standing out for me at the moment. But God, he was unbelievable. And if you ever have a chance to go see Noah Khan, I know he's playing 4 straight sold out shows at Fenway Park. Pretty incredible. I need to close this door really quick because everybody is yelling in the other room. Hold on. Okay. Let's see what else we got. Dan does not mute his radio. That wouldn't make any sense. Let's see what else we've got here. What's Rod Allen like in person? Rod's a very fun guy to be around. Super, super nice. And he actually was working out at the hotel at the Elser the other day. So that's a fun one. I don't think Becky Hammond's opinion on Jalen Brunson is quite a Stugotzian take. Sort of like the way that Zaz just described. And in many ways, she's still sort of right? You don't normally see it happen. And it's funny, I always make everything Heat-centric, right? But I couldn't help but feel as we're talking about this superstar that snuck up on you and all of this stuff, could have been Jimmy Butler if Bam and Goran don't get hurt in that 2020 finals. Let's see what else we got here.
Big fat white face, big fat white face. Just trying to see ones that are worth answering. How's arbitration going? Great. I don't know about the father and son's construction with the slogan "No jobs too big, no jobs too small" from 1983, but I'm happy to know about it. And if you can find a T-shirt, I'll wear it on the show. Let's see. What else we got? What else we got? What do the Marlins need to make a playoff push? Do they need a bat? Do they need bullpen help? I think they could use where they're at right now, unfortunately, is they've been dealing with a ton of pitching injuries. Robbie Snelling's down for the year. Thomas White's down for the year in the minor leagues. I mentioned him as a prospect for them, moving forward. Yuri Perez has been hurt. Jansen Junk has been hurt. Junk should be back, I think, sooner than Yuri Perez. They could use another starting pitcher. Unfortunately, Chris Paddock didn't work out. Maybe another high leverage bullpen arm or two, so that if they're going to continue to do what they're doing in terms of the way they're doing some of these bullpen games, that they can actually survive it and then have guys down the stretch. Pete Fairbanks has not exactly been super stellar, but he's starting to pitch a lot better right now this season. And to me, they could use another right-handed bat with some pop. That's something that they could really, really use. Even if it's a platoon type of guy, I think that lineup when they face left-handed pitching really struggles in comparison to the lineup of when they face righties. And so they could definitely use to have another. Those would be my priority ads at the moment. Do you have any signature championship clinching calls dreamed up if you were commentating of either the Heat or the Marlins win again? It's funny, right? I don't do play-by-play, so it's a different animal. It is crazy. My very first year on the Heat broadcast was when the silly hoisting baby sound that we play all the time happened. And it was such a shock to me that energy was happening. Like, we kind of forget it was during a watch party. There was just a bunch of people at the Kaseya Center watching game 2 that was happening in Denver. And I was so blown away by the energy. It was on my actual birthday of that year. And I was moved by it. And so I was just describing what was going on. I don't think I have anything in the tank for the moment, but if I were put in the position, I'd probably start thinking stuff up. I don't think that there's a world where, especially as a regional broadcaster, you don't go into that night thinking, hey, let me think of something just in case this happens the way that we think that it may. Let's see. Did Mike pleasure himself to Wemby losing over the weekend? I don't know, but I can ask. Let's see. Dan on this week's pitch clock? I'm asking him. We'll see. I do have a wife. Yes, she's wonderful. Is Jeremy going to be on WPLG? Wait to see. Who would win in a fight between me and Chris Whittingham? God. I'm taking Whitty. I don't fight. And that's saying something. Prove to us that we're not watching or listening to your brother right now. It's going to be impossible for me to do. He could be wearing a shorter haired wig. When you saw him as George Harrison, you did not see a wig on him. His hair and mustache are really what he has. Do the Brewers have a legit shot this year behind Miz and Harrison? Yes, absolutely. Those two arms are as good as it gets. Harrison, we've talked about on the pitch clock, underrated in the way that he's been performing so far this season. And Jacob Mizorowski, if he stays healthy, is having one of the most remarkable seasons I've ever seen. Is your wife single? Nope. Thanks for asking. Favorite fighting game character? Kirby in Super Smash Bros. Call Dan Spike Le Batard. Oh, that's pretty good, actually. Maybe I'll do that. A lot of asking who would win in a fight between me and Whitty. And I'm not excited about that. There's no fighting in this household. Top 5 children's cartoons growing up. That is a tough one. I actually had a podcast that I did during COVID that we called Nickelodeon. I wonder God, don't listen to it. I don't know if it's still out there or not, but maybe it's good. I have no idea. But it was going through old Nickelodeon cartoons from when we were kids. So it's like, Wild Thornberries, Hey Arnold. God, I loved both of those. Rocket Power. You guys watch Rocket Power? Rocket Power was incredible. That was one of my absolute favorites. Rugrats. Did I say that? I really love all of those. Are sideburns part of your hair or your face? God, what a good question. Okay, so for me, this part of my hair. And then the moment it gets to about here, part of my face. So basically anywhere I shave up on my own, that is face, but this is hair. That's one of the best questions I've ever been asked on an AMA of any time. Someone just said, come visit Yosemite and I'll cook you some lamb and give you a tour of my farm. Wayne, I'm in, dude. That sounds amazing. Is a hot dog a sandwich? Yes. It's meat between bread. Sorry, not sorry. Let's see what else we've got here. Just scrolling down. How are the bounce house upgrades coming? No idea, but love the bounce house as it is. Go Knights, charge on. I will say while I'm here and scrolling, you should definitely continue to watch the pitch clock every single week. Who's going to win the Cy Young? I think Ohtani's got a shot. I think it's going to be Schlittler in the American League. I'm going to get one last question here before I get going. Let's see what we've got. What can the Twins do to win a World Series this year? Absolutely nothing. The target field is amazing, and I love spending time there. Guys, fun hanging out with you. Hopefully can do another one of these later in the week or maybe next week. But looking forward to it. And yeah, thank you for all of the, all the questions. More Cuban or Jewish? Plead the fifth.
They're into swinging at that house.
Were you always able to tell them apart?
Not at the beginning when we were just dating. Her sister has like a beauty mark on her face, so I was like, mine's the one without that.
Okay. My next question is, a lot of times, your wife or your girlfriend will be like, you think my sister's attractive, don't you? You clearly think her sister's attractive.
That's right. Undeniable.
If you think your wife's hot, you think her sister is hot.
My sister-in-law's hot.
That's
There, I said
crazy,
it.
right?
I've never said that to her before.
No, you got to say that, though.
Well, you must think she's hot.
But Zaz, here's the deal. Everyone with a hot sister-in-law thinks their sister-in-law is hot. He's the only one who's allowed to say it out loud. That's the difference.
That's true. That's true.
Not like the rest of us are like, oh, my sister-in-law is terrible. Like, if you got a hot one, you're like, oh, my God, she's hot, but you just can't say it out loud.
Yeah. And are they actually different?
They're very similar in a lot of ways.
So how'd you choose?
The other one was taken.
Papa Cody, wait a second now. You experience this. I mean, do you find one more charming than the other?
At the very beginning, I too had difficulty telling them apart.
But do you like, now that you've gotten to know, presumably both of them pretty well?
Start of the day, start of the day. It is here, start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is here, start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It This here start of the day. Start of the day. Start of the day. This here start of the day.
Zaz, I want to know which of these stats, these 4 stats, do you believe is the best of all of the stats I'm about to give you? The Spurs led by 12-plus points in every game and led or were tied in the final 2 minutes of every game. 12 points separated the Knicks and the Spurs. 12 points. It's the closest NBA Finals there's ever been, and it was decided in 5 games. The Knicks lost 3 times by a combined 6 points in the postseason. One of the most dominant runs through a postseason there's ever been. And the rest of the NBA, when down 15-plus points this postseason, was 6-58. The Knicks were 3-1.
It was so much you gave me there. I don't know how I'm supposed to remember all of that, but I think the third one that you gave me, which was the Knicks, just 3 losses by a combined 6 total points this postseason. I think that's my favorite.
It's one of the greatest runs we've ever seen, punctuated by one of the most confusing finals you will ever see because of what I gave you at the front end of that, which is the Spurs were up 12-plus in every game, and in the last 2 minutes of every single game were either leading or tied. And they lost in 5.
I mean, I'll tell you how it happens. It's sometimes not that complicated. Number one, your star player was terrible in the fourth quarter and with the game on the line, the whole series. Your veteran point guard, who's got the ball in his hands, was terrible in the fourth quarter all series long. And your head coach, your young head coach, was terrible decision-making with the game on the line.
Wemby's net rating in the finals, in the first quarter, he was plus 43.1, which is crazy. In the second quarter, he's minus 11.3. Third quarter, minus 4.1. Fourth quarter, minus 14.3. Just a disaster late in games. Amin has been texting me all weekend saying that his capitulation Monday. He is telling everyone who will listen that he was right, even though he said that the OKC Thunder were inevitable.
I think the Thunder are going to destroy them.
So, Amin, where are you today on everything that happened over the weekend before we get to your weekend observations?
Well, I'm exactly where I thought I'd be, which is correct. And you guys are such losers, you put my Thunder prediction inside your parade of gas bags, even though I had nothing to do with it. Because, again, the Thunder lost 2 of their 3 ball handlers, and that explains things. That's how things happen in the world. When we say something's going to happen, we're assuming regular conditions. I'm not saying, hey, this day at the beach is going to be awesome, and then a hurricane comes unexpectedly. It's like, oh, I thought you said it'd be awesome. Well, yeah, I didn't expect a hurricane to happen. So, but it's all right. It's okay. I understand that you can't say, damn, I mean, you were right, and just leave it at that. You have to kind of find a way around, like, to undercut it one way or another. But there's 2 things. One is I told you that young teams, I don't care how talented they are, they run into the pain of experience at some point. And 2, you lumped me in and said, oh, Amin said that a small guard could never. I never said that. I was never on the Jalen Brunson's too small to win a championship train. Do not put that on me. I never said that. I never said, well, the championship is this Western Conference Finals. I never said that either.
Where are you on Brunson and how we're going to have to rewrite some of our impressions of him? Because the Immortals don't get to sneak up on you.
I mean, there have been Immortals that have sneaked up on us, though. I mean,
snuck.
Was that me or
snuck?
You guys hear that echo?
Nope.
Okay, I'm just hearing some conversation somewhere in the background. But no, Jokic was a 2nd-round pick. You can't hear that? Really? It's like it sounds like people having a conversation.
You're doing
That's
a
why
bit.
I know it's not like a.
It's just you. None of us can hear that. In fact, let's put Amin down for a second. Okay, yeah, it's gone.
Jokic was a 2nd-round pick, and nobody thought he was going to be what he was, and he snuck up on us. To use your term, snuck. You know, they're big guys before, but yeah, Brunson is special because of the gas bag montage, right? Because at the time of the signing, there were a lot of people who didn't understand it. And I won't say that I was one of those people who didn't understand it, but I also won't say that, I knew he'd lead them to a championship. I thought he was a pretty good player, and that was a smart use of their money at the time.
I mean, the reason that Jokic is different is because you're
Now
talking.
I can't hear anything.
You're talking.
Now
about,
Dan's talking. I see his lips
all right,
moving.
put him
but I
down,
can't hear
please,
anything.
so that I can come back to him when we've got functioning audio. Thanks. That's the way to go on that one. The reason that Jokic is different is because Jokic was somebody who was drafted in the second round, but he wasn't doubted when he got to the finals. He wasn't doubted deep into the playoffs. Can this person
Was that
win?
year his first MVP?
Was the year that he won the
23?
championship was, and he wasn't doubted. Whether we knew how great that player was. The part of it that was surprising was the front end. Of course, you don't normally get a guy drafted in the second round in that sport who turns into an all-time great. But I believe that this Knicks team was doubted throughout, and I believe Brunson was doubted throughout, at least in part because of the history of you can't win with someone that small as your best player.
To your point, Jokic, before winning the NBA championship, was already a two-time MVP.
That wasn't what we just experienced. What we just experienced has no precedent that I can recall in the history of the sport, honest to God, where a guy who empirically, without question, is a killer in the fourth quarter. Like, you can measure it. Is it an overreaction for me to say, I mean, second most clutch player we have ever seen? I know people are hyperventilating. I know there's a prisoner of the moment. I know emotion gets involved. But numerically, this person can score no matter what's happening in the fourth quarter and has done it now for 4 straight seasons in a way that doubles up the MVPs. Shea and Jokic have done less close and late by half than what Brunson's done the last 3 years of the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's tough to say anything is, unless you felt like that before this run. You can't say now this run makes him the second most clutch ever. If you said that before, if you said, oh, he was third before, now he's second, I'm with you. But you can't come from unranked on your most clutch of all time to second behind Michael Jordan.
He's unranked as best player in the game. He never gets in that conversation. Never.
I don't think he's the best player in the game. I think he's an amazing player, and I think he had an amazing playoffs and amazing finals, obviously, and he deserves all the kudos. I heard you earlier say he's better than Allen Iverson. I think in order to be Allen Iverson, you got to put together a career of that, right? Allen Iverson had a career of all of those moments, and Brunson has had, as we said, 4 years of it, which is, again, nothing to say that it won't continue. If it continues, sure, but at this point, I couldn't put him above Allen Iverson.
You don't put him above Iverson because of the efficiencies.
No, because, again, the game was a different game, for one, in terms of how the game was played, how the game was looked at. Number two, I think Iverson played on a team where he had to shoot like that. He had to play like that. You know, this team that Brunson plays on, he's got Karl Anthony Towns, who many of us have called the best shooting big man of all time. Zach Harper says he's one of the best shooters in the league, period. Let's not qualify with as big man. He's got OG Anunoby, obviously, who's a great talent. He's got a talented team. Iverson was playing with Eric Snow and Dikembe Mutombo, Tyrone Hill and George Lynch. None of those guys were offensive players. Aaron McKee, Philly's own Aaron McKee. So none of those guys were really offensive juggernauts or guys like, oh, on any given night I can give you 30. Iverson had to play that way for that team to have a chance.
I want to play some sound here of a CNN reporter getting engulfed in the streets of New York here. I don't know whether Amin has gotten to feel the flavor of New York here in the last couple of days, but look at what is happening in the streets here as this CNN reporter tries to stay calm.
You saw everything, and it was this final, just release of all these things that have finally happened. And we are here, and here we are today. And this is just how it is.
That Wemby pack.
It's like we said, Omar. It is a party atmosphere. People see, yeah, and we're just gonna take you a little bit on this one.
I love your car. Yeah, that's a great haircut. Hey, see, all right, Mark Morales is getting a taste of the people right now. Up close and personal with people clearly smoking on that San Antonio Spurs pack right now.
They were blowing smoke in his face, marijuana smoke in his face. I will never get used to New York streets being filled with people just walking around smoking weed because
multiple
it's legal.
spliffs, Dan.
Yeah, no, that's shout out to legality, right? No, look, I haven't been. I was in San Antonio, obviously, for Game 5. I've been in communication with everyone in New York. But really funny to, look at one of those aggregator accounts, League Alerts, and they're talking about fires and destruction. And in one of the pictures, I'm like, that's my cousin. So, like, that was weird. I'm going to go to the parade and we'll see what that's about.
Really?
On Thursday. Yeah, I'm going to go. I want to be around my cousins and my friends and stuff. And I want to see what it's like. The parade, I think, is going to be a lot more tame than Saturday night must have been. Saturday night looked like the apocalypse. And the amount of people in the streets for the game, because I didn't know this, in many neighborhoods, they were projecting the game onto the sides of buildings. You're never going to get to. There's no other city in the league. I've said this a million times, usually in reference to LeBron becoming a Knick. I said, if you win one in New York, it's worth 1,000 anywhere else. And sometimes I thought to myself, you're over exaggerating. It can't be worth 1,000. Then watching people watch an NBA Finals game on the side of a building as they crowd the streets. I'm like, no, that's worth 1,000. They don't do that anywhere else. They don't do that in Boston.
I'm sitting there watching the entire time behind Tony. There's a guy hanging from a traffic light who then grabs onto the top of a double-decker bus.
It's like when you hang on the rim.
You see the guy doing the pull-ups from the traffic light with nothing underneath him?
Yes.
He did pull-ups. I'm like, what are you doing? Well, your fingers get sweaty, you slip, that's it. You're in a wheelchair for the rest of your life.
I did have a moment. On Saturday night, like seeing all that party, realizing now I get why people make fun of our little party at the Elbow Room. Because while it does feel big to us, it's just like a few hundred people where that's blocks and blocks of people.
They decapitated Elmo and put it on a spike and put a sign that said traitor on it.
Pick a side, Elmo.
I'm sorry. They don't do that in Dallas. They don't do that in Phoenix. They don't do that in Chicago, Milwaukee, any of these other towns. Hey, we've got the best sports fans. No, you don't. They don't do that. That's next level.
And Dan, like, they took over that building in San Antonio. We've never seen that in the NBA Finals. I don't think I'm exaggerating.
Zaz, I took pictures and a video of the upper deck, and the upper deck was almost exclusively orange and blue.
That's crazy.
70-30. Now,
that's never happened before.
Lower bowl was more mixed. Now, lest I believe that maybe I was just tripping, when they win the championship, they have to build that stage out. So it takes some time for the stage to get built out before Ernie Johnson and Adam Silver can present the trophy. And shout out to Ernie Johnson, by the way. Class act, Hall of Famer, all this stuff, was still giddy afterwards that he got to hand the trophy out. Like, that was his first time, obviously, doing the NBA Finals, him and Charles and the rest of them. And it was so amazing to see people who are so accomplished still be like, oh, my God, I can't believe this is happening to me, even though, they're Hall of Famers. But, yeah, so as they're building out that stage, obviously, all the Spurs fans are leaving. They don't want to watch this. So all that remained was just the Knicks fan. And it looked like the arena was still full.
Yep.
They was still, I'm talking about, I don't know if you can see it on TV, that entire lower bowl was full of Knicks fans. And then upstairs was more scattered. So, yeah, I can agree with you there, Zaz. We've never seen that. We'll never see that again, I don't think, where a road team will take over the opposing arena like that.
They did it in Philadelphia, too. Zaz, how did you feel about the trophy being handed, as is the custom in the NBA, to James Dolan?
I'll never be able to get past this. I won't. And we saw it this weekend where it was 2 consecutive nights. It was Saturday night, and then it was Sunday night. And Saturday night, the NBA champion, the New York Knicks, the very first thing they do on that stage, they hand the Larry O'Brien trophy to the owner, James Dolan.
Hey, New York! Sorry it took so long!
They hand it to Jim Dolan, and he gets to talk first. And then the very next night, as if anyone wants to hear from the owner. And then the next night, the Stanley Cup gets awarded to the Carolina Hurricanes. And who gets the trophy, the cup first? The captain, Jordan Staal. No owners in sight. Like, I'll never understand giving the trophy to the owner first before
Isn't
the
that
players
guy in
or the
Portland?
coach.
That's the deal, guys. The guy paid for everything. That's the deal. I don't like him, but he won and he paid for everything.
No, but it doesn't have to do with James Dolan. It's every year.
It's every year, and that's what I always say. It's the owner. The owner gets to get the title first, the trophy first, because they paid for everything.
It's so lame.
They paid for everything. I'm just saying, like, Like it's kind of like if we order a pizza, I pay for the pizza. You better believe I'm gonna get the first slice. What are you talking about? Like it's you are welcome to feed after I do. You get the big piece of chicken, whatever the metaphor you want to use.
Man,
the guy paying for it gets it.
I love a slice draft. When you get a couple pies at the house, like you go in hierarchy. All right, I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna get this one with the bubble. Of
course.
Call it
a pie. I see it.
My
Tony.
son got so mad at me the other day because I'm paying for the pie, and I'm gonna order the kind of crust that I want, Dan. And so I like the pan. Pan crust is the best crust, and I got pan. And my younger son, it was like I ruined the night. He was devastated and angry with me. I'm like, I paid for it.
Pan's a little greasy.
It is, but that's okay.
If we're going slice draft, you drafting the bubble piece?
No, I'm okay with the bubble piece.
I love a pizza bubble.
I'm okay with it.
Pizza bubble.
Yep, I'm okay with it.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. If you're going pizza slice draft, do you take the piece with the bubble first?
Bubble piece is a second-round pick at best, if not third-round pick.
Pan.
First-round pick.
Pan crust is the way to go.
We're going to get, I'm with you on pan pizza. Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Is pan pizza the best of the pizza? When we get to talking about owners, though, I thought about this the other day. We didn't comment when Silver was talking about Trump being at Madison Square Garden, and you saw sort of the broken body language of Shaq and Draymond and Charles Barkley sitting next to Silver and sort of having to eat the things that he was saying that were positive. It made me think of, what was the name of Diddy's butler who just walked around him with a parasol?
Farnsworth Bentley.
Farnsworth, yeah.
Bentley.
Silver has become Farnsworth Bentley. He should just walk around the owners like Dolan with a parasol in the event that it rains. That he should just be a glorified butler at this point, given what he's doing. Just walk behind Ballmer and make sure that all of Pablo's spitting doesn't land on the top of his head.
From G's to Gents, you guys remember that show? That was a fun show.
I do remember that.
Give Amin the weekend observation and World Cup observations music, please.
Yeah.
Just put everybody
It
in
is
suits.
time for
Amin.
to share his
World Cup.
game notes. No one in the media will tell you what happened better than my boy.
Amin.
World Cup observations is brought to you by Miller Lite. Legendary moments start with the light, folks. Dan?
Yes.
Let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room. How about Cote d'Ivoire? Incredible goal in the 90th minute to defeat Ecuador. Get it? Because they're called the Elephants. The Elefantes. Yeah. It's still early. It's still early for Ecuador. But with Germany also in their group, you could also say the hopes of their nation are on the line. Ecuador's hopes are on the line. Because of the equator.
I like it. I like
the
that.
equator,
The
yes.
geography
yes,
joke,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
I like it.
Speaking of Germany, they beat Curacao, or as Wayne Gretzky likes to say, Curacao, 7-1, which absolutely gave me PTSD from 2014. The sad part is you could argue that Curacao did better than Brazil did because at least they tied it up early, whereas Brazil was down like 5-0 before they scored one. God. I learned pretty quickly on Saturday, having World Cup games during the NBA Finals is an exhausting proposition. I was spent before Game 5 started because I was sitting there watching Brazil play against Morocco, a few feet away from Mike Brown's pregame presser, and I yelped audibly because Vinny Jr. scores on a freaking Jericho missile to earn the draw against Morocco. I was like, and everyone turned around and looked, is everything okay? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just held up my phone.
How bummed were you by that as a performance, though? Like, what is that from the greatest soccer historians the world has ever known?
Well, Dan, there's a lot of doubters out there. There's a lot of haters. There's a lot of people thinking that this is the worst Brazil side in quite some time. I'm not one of them. Morocco is a really good team, and they started out very aggressively, and then the rest of the game, Brazil controlled. I was surprised that Endrick didn't play. I was surprised that Cunha came in the second half as opposed to starting the game. But I'm not worried. We got things under control.
I'll tell you something, Dan. I watched a lot of that Brazil game. They got some great fans.
Good fans.
Great fans.
Oh, man. You know about those Brazilian fans, Zaz?
Great fans.
Yeah. Morocco is the first team to field an entire starting 11 born outside of the nation they represent. All of their starters born outside of Morocco. Not to be outdone, the USA has a guy who was born in the USA while his parents were on vacation. I wish that was a witty joke that I wrote. That's real. Guy scored twice. USA beat Paraguay 4-1. The dude that was born on vacation scored 2 of their goals. USA beating Paraguay 4-1, which is the soccer equivalent of Wemby hitting that deep 3 in overtime. It gives you a false sense of security that will come back to haunt its fan base. Mark my words. Netherlands and Japan. Game of the tournament so far. Last time I had that much fun watching something that involved the Japanese and Netherlands, I was using a VPN. My VPN users know what I'm talking about. Time for another edition of the show within the show within the show. It's Back in My Day, World Cup observations on Dan Le Batard Show. Back in my day, refs wore only one color, all black. In the odd chance that New Zealand was playing on that day, which they almost never do during the World Cup, the refs would wear yellow. That's it. Stop giving me refs wearing every color under the sun, all black, everyone else adjust. Get out of my face. Also, I don't need the ref's name on the back of the jersey. I didn't come to see them. Ref, what are we selling, ref jerseys next? Looking ahead to tomorrow, 2 games I'm really excited for. France versus Senegal. Colonizer versus the colonized. This is a little bit of a Hatfields and McCoys because there are like 4 or 5 players on the Senegalese team who are born in France and chose to play for their native Senegal. By the way, the French Postal Service is called La Poste. La Poste. It's yellow.
Please.
And Tony, unlike you, I love female workers. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I don't judge. You like the male workers. I like the female workers.
Were you as appalled
They don't
by
put that
our lack of stamp knowledge as the audience seemed to be?
No, I'm not, because the audience are all liars. First of all, the question was, who has stamps at home? Nobody. That's why we go to the post office. If I had stamps at home, I wouldn't have to go to the post office. Second of all, Dan, when you said it was 98 cents or whatever?
36
well, how
cents.
much is it?
38 or 36 cents is what I said. Yeah.
It's not. But what is it really?
Well, they said it's
'Cause I
78
thought
or 79 cents, and I think they're looking in the wrong place. I don't believe that that's
I think
real.
so too. 38 cents was what I thought it was as well.
It's not.
I know it's okay. I'm just saying, like, that's what I thought it was. But to hear that it's as elevated it is pretty shocking. But again, how many of us are mailing things, physically mailing things? What are you mailing? What are you mailing? I guess if you had a wedding, but then they're doing the postage by the pound, right? They take all the invites and they weigh them, and then you get the automated thing. You're not doing liquid stamps like George Costanza or some shit, right?
I believe they're wrong. I believe the internet is wrong. I believe the people looking things up on this show are wrong. I believe that stamps are still closer to 38
You're
cents
wrong.
than they are till 78 cents.
I think you need to send Jeremy to the post office right now to go mail something. Anything. Doesn't matter what it is. Go find out, Jeremy. Hustle back. Report.
Tomorrow, Jeremy, I want you to go to the post office and get to the bottom of this question that we have.
Yes.
Terrific. Thank you for that, Amin.
You're welcome. The other game I'm looking forward to is the feel-good story of the World Cup so far, Algeria. Dan, you know about that Algeria?
I do not.
So Algeria is doing their camp in Lawrence, Kansas. And unlike any other team in the World Cup, they've really embraced their local community. And shout out to the people of Lawrence, Kansas. They've embraced them back. They bring like Algerian singers to play, and the community comes out. The little kids came and played with the Algerian players on the pitch. It's really, really touching stuff to see all these Kansans very excited that a team chose their home to be the training ground. And now they're all buying Algeria jerseys and they're supporting Algeria. It is a great, great story for a team that it's a pretty good team. Remember, they did pretty well in the last World Cup, or 2 World Cups ago. And so that's a feel-good story. They're taking on the feel-bad story of every World Cup, and that's Argentina. Argentina could go to hell. Speaking of hell, Argentina. Those are the World Cup observations.
Well done. Looking forward to these next few weeks. The United States, it can be plausibly argued that that's as good as U.S. soccer has ever looked. It's not just winning 4-1. It's that you consistently attacked after taking the lead. Our teams are boring. They're plodding. They have never been a team. I know it's merely Paraguay. ¿Qué pasa? But why are you shaking your head?
I'm just saying this is everyone's reaction after Wemby hit that 3 in the conference final.
No,
Okay.
no. We have the result, a result. I'm not projecting anything from it. I'm just saying that's about as good as soccer has felt since Landon Donovan, scored a goal. 4 goals is not something that we do. Speaking of Landon Donovan, incidentally, I'd like to get those pictures. Yeah. I'd like to get those pictures. Landon Donovan, as a soccer player, had a head that was like a soccer ball. He was bald. He was a soccer bald. And he was obviously, as even a young man, bald. And now he's got a full head of hair.
Good for him.
It's the way Wayne Rooney did it, where you go. It's like how my dad would do dye jobs when he was the boss, where he'd be totally gray and then he'd come in the next day and everything was painted chapapote black, and he was just unbelievably black eyebrows.
Like Brian Urlacher. One day it was like bald, and then it was like boom, hair.
You can't really do that. I think you have to catch it before you've lost it all. Otherwise, we're going to be doing what we're doing here to Landon Donovan. But I wanted to show you something. Yes, Amin, go ahead.
Yeah, I wish noted soccer enthusiast and hair expert Mike Ryan was on the show today to talk about this in more detail than I can. But I know this because I follow Landon Donovan, and there's the whole journey, and he flirted with the idea of going to Turkey, and then he decided against it because he felt like that's just too much downtime. So he has what they call a hair unit, which is they shave this part of your head, they put some glue down, and then they put hair on top, like a fully formed toupee. They glue it on, and then they style it afterward. And he was very open about that process on his social media about a year ago.
Glued on, you're saying?
Yeah, it's like, so if you grab the front of his hair and you pull back, it would just be bald like
the boxer.
Paul Feinbaum.
Like the boxer got hit.
Yeah,
and
like the boxer.
thing got,
And the hair, exactly. Yep,
Where is
yep,
that
yep.
guy, by the way? We're supposed to have that guy.
Yeah, we've been trying to get him for a couple of months. We've failed so
We'll
far.
get him soon.
Oh, also, shout out to my guy Tyler Murray. You guys accused him of plagiarism. To hell with you, man.
No,
That guy's
accuse
a
him of
great-
inspiration.
You said he stole it. You said he was a thief. You called him a thief.
Inspiration.
Nah.
Okay, but what, you're just going to shout him out? Do you have any other objection? Because I felt like I hinted that Zaz was suggesting that it was stolen, but Zaz denied that.
No, Zaz went right along with it. And then at the end of that little portion of the conversation, he said, oh, no, it's inspiration. Yeah, after you called this guy everything but a child of God. Shout out to Kendrick Perkins. I stole that one from him.
Not worth stealing from him, I don't think. So let's play for Amin here. Let's show him something that happened. And this is something that happens around here sometimes, which is why celebrities and their publicists do not allow people to come on with us. When Hank Azaria was on with us, I thought that what he said was fairly harmless. It was nice storytelling. We found out that Rainn Wilson and Jeremy Strong and Aaron Judge were all sitting in the rafters of MSG because it was such a popular ticket. And look at what the tabloids did to Hank and his publicist. And Hank's not on today because this is what the tabloids did to Hank and his publicist. The headline is, Hank Azaria bashes Taylor Swift as he name drops A-listers rejected from Nick's Celebrity Row. I feel like that's a very unfair appraisal by the New York Post and all Murdoch-related news organizations that they just took something that was really easy to do to Hank and made him a Taylor Swift basher for the clicks on getting the Swifties mad at Hank.
I mean, we didn't bring up Taylor Swift.
Agreed. You know what he said to me afterward? Because he felt it this weekend. He didn't feel good about that. He's like, man, I've got to remember to do that as Brockmire because nobody takes anything he says seriously. I can get away with anything as Brockmire. If I had just made one of the voices, that wouldn't have happened to me.
Also, they weren't in the rafters. I mean, yes, they were in a suite. They had a special suite up there. I walked by it on the way to my media seats, and I was like, that looks nice in there. Like it was all the cool people were in there, and they had food and they had drinks and stuff like that. So don't feel bad for Jeremy Strong, who, by the way, everyone's saying is going to do a great job as Mark Zuckerberg in the new social network.
That movie looks good.
Yeah, he sounds just like him. It's crazy. He don't look like him, but he sounds like him. And I think that's the key to doing a good Zuck.
Where are you on Windhorst's latest reporting on Giannis and the information coming forth now that Giannis has targeted Miami as his preferred destination?
Hell yeah.
Well, Dan, if you believe the whispers and the murmurs in the back rooms of the NBA Finals, this deal is done. The only reason it hasn't been done yet is because they were holding for the end of the Finals because it is a time-honored tradition. You do not hijack the Finals. You do all your big transactions afterwards. So I imagine we're going to see something in the next week or so. But it sounds like I'm not reporting now. I'm just a guy who hears what other guys are talking about. But it sounds like Giannis is going to be a Miami Heat, and if he is, that'll mark the second time he instantly becomes the most famous number 34 in the franchise, stealing it away from Ray Allen.
This is why I'm hesitant to do that. The last time it felt exactly like this was Lillard. And then
Lillard was different because remember, there's two things. Number one, it drug out all the way into August, right? It was a long thing that did not resolve itself. Second of all, there was open animus between the Portland front office and Miami. And in this case, I don't get that feeling from Milwaukee. I feel like, yes, they're trying to get a great deal, but it's not like, oh, hell with those guys anywhere but them, which is what Portland felt like. The other thing I want to address, you guys said, oh, maybe they're holding out because they don't want to take Thanasis. Thanasis is absolutely going to be part of this deal for two reasons. One, he makes minimum. So it's not like, oh, I can't take on that salary. But the other part of it is you want Thanasis on the team when you have Giannis. He's, contrary to popular belief, he's not there just to be a cheerleader and kind of get in and do wacky things in garbage time. Thanasis is the only person Giannis listens to. Like, he's his older brother and still respects him as his older brother. And whenever Giannis is out of line, it's Thanasis who delivers the message to say, hey, get your head back into this or whatever. So you absolutely want Thanasis. He has a great value to the acquiring team, whoever gets Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Can you tell us, Amin, the history of transactions like that? Goran Dragic did some of that for Zoran, but give me the...
No, he didn't.
Well, he did...
Goran told me. I had nothing to do with that. They did it because they thought, ooh, this will make him happy. But he's like...
They checked with him before waiving him, okay? They don't do that normally.
Of course. Well, after you do the transaction, sure, but the acquisition of Zoran to make Goran feel better, that wasn't a Goran request.
But give me the other examples that are like that. Those are valuable positions. There are very few of them in the world. Giving a spot on a bench for a guy, because when you trade for him, you're basically trading for two roster spots because you need somebody who is caretaker, babysitter, comfort blanket, whatever. Give me all the examples in NBA history that you have of something like that.
Chris Smith, J.R. Smith's brother, was on the Knicks. He's probably the one that I would say, man, that guy's not an NBA player. And then also J.R. Smith wasn't exactly the franchise player, so why are we bending over backward for him? And then obviously Bronny is the one that everyone's going to say. But I think all those examples pale in comparison to Thanasis, right? Because all those comparisons are younger brothers / in the case of Bronny, a son, right? And Giannis has another younger brother, Alex, right? But that's different. It's like all those guys are like, oh yeah, it's my little brother. I'd love to have him around or whatever. Thanasis, I think, plays a role, a Udonis Haslem-esque role, I think, but in this case, for the best player in the franchise, and that's Giannis. And so, to me, I think Thanasis is different in that regard from any other nepotism kind of, exceptions being made.
Give us some final thoughts here as your basketball season has concluded. The most interesting observations that you have from what it is that we just witnessed in the finals and how rare a basketball story, the Knicks are.
Yeah. Oddly enough, I would start with Victor Wembanyama, who is so much better than I think any of us believed he'd be this quickly. That he got his team to be winners this quickly is fairly remarkable, and that he burnt out almost all of his goodwill this quickly is pretty fascinating to watch. I think the Knicks season is tremendous, and it is a testament to teamwork and continuity, and also a big shout out to Mike Brown, a guy that a lot of people question as the hire, a guy that a lot of people question, and I'm talking about people in New York. I'm not talking about the national people, the people who are now carrying around on their shoulders. I remember the whispers. I remember all the stuff that people said at the beginning. Oh, why are we hiring this guy? Oh, he couldn't win with LeBron. Zaz stole my point that I've been making for years, which is, hey, we let players grow. Why don't we ever let coaches grow? The idea that Mike Brown is the same guy in 2026 as he was in 2007 is patently ridiculous. And so I'm very happy and proud for Mike Brown that he showed his value in many of the same way Steve Kerr showed his value 11 years ago in Golden State. And I think the Giannis move is going to trigger a series of other moves around the league. as we're going to see, especially in the Eastern Conference, the arms race start to heat up. And one last thing, I'll go to my dying grave, the Oklahoma City Thunder. If they don't get hurt, they're probably the champs today.
What other kind of grave is there other than a dying grave?
You could be buried alive. I don't know if you've seen that.
Biscuits and grave.
Do that
Great
sometimes.
point.
No. I think the Thunder are going to destroy them. Yeah, and then 2 guys got hurt. Like that. It would be like if 2 of the Knicks' best players for the biscuits and gravy. Yeah, I liked it, Chris. I thought it was a good try. But yeah, it would be like if the next 2 best ball handlers for the Knicks got hurt as well. Like if Hart and Anunoby get hurt.
Yo,
like,
they lost.
I don't understand. I don't understand why people cannot grasp that. Yeah, when someone makes a prediction, it's based on the available information and not secret information that no one knows because it hasn't happened yet.
Here's what you said.
I think the Thunder are going to destroy them.
Mm-hmm.
I said that before the series.
You can't be right. I'm going to marvel here probably one last time at the idea that Rare is the basketball champion that has every single thing that they did as a choice doubted, from coach to star player to contracts to draft picks. Like every single thing gets doubted and every single thing ends up working because no matter what happens with those picks for Bridges, that's a success forevermore. Just because you built the team that brought this feeling one time. But when Chris Broussard said of the Brunson signing, I'm not sure he's a top 10 point guard. I'm not sure he's a top 14 point guard. Who are the names that he's thinking of?
Top 14?
It's going to be really hard for me to find. Chris Broussard is cited for a long time as a basketball expert. He says a number of things that are relentlessly silly. Saying that Brunson was not a top 14 point guard puts who ahead of him, Jeremy? Who from that time period was available in the league for the Knicks when they chose Brunson.
So available is a different question, right? But the top 14 point guards. So this is going into the 2022-23 season.
How are you ranking these? Like,
So I'm just giving you names here, and I'm looking at what I imagine Chris Broussard says. That guy's better.
It's like we're going to see if we can find 14
Then borderline, yes. So I'm sure that he was thinking James Harden, Chris Paul, Luka Doncic, Russell Westbrook, Drew Holiday, Damian Lillard, Jamal Murray, Kyrie Irving, and a young Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Okay.
Right? That's 9.
So Harden and Lillard are point guards. We're stretching what we're doing with point guards.
Well, Lillard has always been a point guard for sure. And I think at the time
so.
and continuing,
I think so.
Harden would have been listed as a point guard,
Harden
right? He
and
was
Luka,
leading the
yeah.
league in
In
assists.
82-0, he's a point guard.
All right. Trae Young and Ja Morant are the next two I have on this list, as he definitely at that time believed they were better than Jalen Brunson. That gets you to 11. Now we're pushing it. The next two I think he would have had would be Fred VanVleet and Michael Conley. Okay, now we're at 13. But to get to 14 better, you would need to include at least one of Darius Garland, Marcus Smart, Killian Hayes, Trey Jones, Markelle Fultz, or TJ McConnell.
Okay, so you're objecting to the top 14 instead of top 13? Is that what you're doing?
I'm objecting to all of it. It's a crazy take.
Because it sounds like you're really stuck on who's the 14th guy that he's behind.
Yeah, because it might have to be Marcus Smart or Killian Hayes, Zaz.
I mean, he was wrong, but it doesn't seem that bad.
You're not playing the game, man.
It's pretty bad.
It's bad now.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah.
That's what happens.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Yeah,
Foresight.
Okay.
I would say that generally speaking, when it comes to analysts, you want them to have some sort of vision as to what's coming next, not just what's in front of you right now. And is Darius Garland better than Jalen Brunson? Like,
Well, that's why I think top 13 is the real sticking point, you know?
He was saying he was the third best left-handed point guard.
I don't think of James Harden as a point guard. You guys think of James Harden
led
as a
the league in
point guard?
assists.
But I don't.
Is Luka a point
I
guard?
think Jokic led the league in assists this year. You know, point guard.
All right, enough of you.
Gotcha.
I want to get to what it is that happened with Roman Reigns this weekend.
They massacred my boy, Dan.
Hold on, though. Before we get to the massacre of your boy, it was an unfortunate thing that happened to him. But before we get to that, I want to put the punctuation on Wemby's season, because there's a lot that happened here really fast, including over the last 5 games. Wemby's gone from this guy's going to be dominating the sport for 10 years to, ooh, that's dirty and poisonous, and, ooh, you kind of shrunk in the fourth quarter, and everything fell apart, including your demeanor in post-game press conferences. This is how Wemby says goodbye to the media. This is how Wemby says goodbye to his season. This is how Wemby says goodbye.
See y'all. Never.
Classic mic audio there of a mic fumbling.
What does that even mean?
See y'all. Never.
It feels a little bit like when LeBron told everybody, you know, after he lost here.
I'm rich.
No, that's like yeah, you know, I'm me and you have to go back to your lives. Feels a little bit like that.
Does it? No, I think LeBron's was more egregious on those people who are criticizing me or unhappy people, and I get to go to my mansion. That's not what Wemby's saying here.
See y'all. Never.
I think he just said it in fewer words.
Is that a mic sound or an alien sound?
Yeah,
at the
that
end?
is true. That's a good point.
See y'all. Never.
Ooh, that's
From
a good
Six-
question.
like Just like Sixth Sense.
Alien.
That's a good question from Jeremy there. Is that the gurgling in the throat of an extraterrestrial, or is that a mic being dropped?
See y'all. Never.
That's him communicating to his land.
They're asking questions from up there. Why were you so shitty in the fourth quarter? We sent you. You're supposed to be stronger. Those people are human. Wait, the next guy, he's small and human.
We called 6 fouls on the other guy for you.
I thought instead of a mic drop, that was just him dropping the mic. But now that Jeremy says that is the sound an alien would make if it was peeling off its face.
Do you think he's telling his people to invade?
Do you think that those people will show up at the end of the fight and actually win it, or do you think they'll fold and put down their weapons the last 2 minutes after leading the entirety of the battle?
Did you guys notice that after the game that they won, when Wemby was doing the post-game presser, De'Aaron Fox yelled at him like, "We got to go, it's almost midnight," as if it's like a Cinderella thing where he's going to turn back into an extraterrestrial?
His
Anybody
response?
else notice that?
His response?
Let's get back to the camera people and the director of this UFC Freedom event doing Roman Reigns dirty here. So Roman Reigns is simply preening for the camera with Triple H. He's simply doing the pose that you always do. If someone's taking your picture, you just put a finger out and you point in the direction
Point at the other guy.
of something because you don't know what to do with your hand. But unfortunately, it was immediately after Michelle Obama was called a man.
Cut to Roman Reigns.
Again, the people, the directors and stuff don't know what's happening. They're just being like, all right, here's the famous person we got queued up. Here's Roman Reigns and Triple H. And what did Hogan say?
Yeah, not great. Play the Wemby sound again. I can't believe how much that sounds like a gurgling alien.
See y'all. Never.